Chapter 401. Your parents have signed up for a tour group around the UK. I'll contact Alan and ask him to pick them up, Wunyan suggested. You're so smart. I thought too simply. I'll do as you say. Please help me contact my parents. Okay. After dinner, they went to a nearby bar. They drank a lot and were drunk. Then, they went to a karaoke bar. Wunyan ordered a lot of songs. She sang and shouted hysterically. Lu Shuang drank a lot too. He couldn't take it anymore and fell asleep on the sofa. Wunyan asked for a blanket from the waiter. She draped it over Lu Shuang and continued to sing. Her last song was Goodbye. I'm afraid that I won't have the chance to say goodbye to you. Because I might never see you again. I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm leaving this familiar place and you. My tears are falling. I'll remember your face. I'll cherish the love you gave me. These days will never be erased from my heart. I can't promise you that I'll come back without looking back. I'll walk on without looking back. She sang to the sad part. She drank a big glass of red wine and lay down on the sofa. She had drunk a lot. She should be drunk. But her mind was abnormally clear. She didn't want to sleep. She picked up her phone and found Gu Lingxing's number. Before she could wrap her mind around it, she pressed the dial button. Gu Lingxing hung up and didn't answer. Wunyan twitched the corner of her mouth. Tears rolled down from her eyes. She closed her eyes. It was better not to answer. She felt dizzy and wanted to sleep. Then, her phone rang. She saw that it was Gu Lingxing's call. She picked it up subconsciously. What is it? Gu Lingxing said in a low voice. He was very quiet. His voice sounded very cold. Wunyan was silent. Gu Lingxing sneered. I told you not to contact me again. You seem to have forgotten. Baya, what do you want? Sorry, wrong number. Wunyan hung up the phone. After some thought, he blacklisted Gu Lingxing's number and deleted it. She couldn't call Gu Lingxing anymore. She couldn't. Feeling sad, he poured himself another glass of red wine and drank it all. In the end, he didn't know how he fell asleep. He was woken up by the waiter in the KTV room. Her head was still hurting badly. She was worried that Lu Shuang would talk nonsense, so she brought Lu Shuang to her room and slept until someone knocked on the door. Wunyan got up and opened the door. Shen Yiyan stood at the door with a straight face. Her sharp eyes glanced at Wunyan. Her eyes were as deep and serene as a 10,000-year-old ancient pond, but there were hidden waves surging. She seemed to know something. Wunyan was trembling with fear. Where is she? Shen Yiyan asked coldly. She's still sleeping. She went to the KTV and sang very late last night, Wunyan explained. I'm afraid she didn't just go to the KTV. Shen Yiyan looked at Wunyan and said. Wunyan smiled and lowered his eyes. He didn't reply to Shen Yiyan. At this time, the more he said, the more wrong he would be. Shen Yiyan walked into the room. Lu Shuang was sleeping in a mess. One of his legs was outside, and his clothes were brushed over his stomach. One of his hands was pressed behind his head, and the other was lying casually. Shen Yiyan went over and carried him up. She straightened his clothes. Lu Shuang opened his eyes and saw Shen Yiyan. My head hurts. I want to sleep. You didn't drink too much last night, and it won't hurt anymore. Are you happy to see your parents? Shen Yiyan asked. Lu Shuang looked at Wunyan. You told Shen Yiyan? Wunyan was speechless. Lu Shuang was too naive. She managed to trick her. Shuang misses her parents very much. It's not too much to meet them. Wunyan said for Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang looked at Shen Yiyan. Of course it's not too much. But there's no need to sneak around. If you want to see them, I can arrange it, Shen Yiyan said in a low voice. Whoever started the trouble should end it. I'm afraid this matter is not something that you can arrange. Wu Nian was worried that Lu Shuang would make mistakes if he said too much, so he interrupted. Can you solve the problem that I can't solve? Shen Yiyan said coldly. For example, contact Alan and ask Lu Shuang and her parents to leave? Wu Nian's heart skipped a beat. Shen Yiyan knew their purpose clearly. I don't think I have this ability. Does the president think I do? Wu Nian asked calmly. Shen Yiyan lowered his head and looked at Lu Shuang in his arms. Don't do something that you'll regret, okay? Shen Yiyan gave people a dangerous feeling. He was like an awakened beast, as if he would be swallowed by him if he was not careful. What's wrong with you? You're acting weird in the morning. Don't vent your anger on me. I'm not your doormat. Lu Shuang struggled to get off him. He hugged him tighter. It's past noon now. It's a long time since the morning that you mentioned. Besides, I never vent my anger on you. I'll only vent my anger on you. It seems that your subordinates are in trouble every day. You're over 30 this year. You should control your temper. Lu Shuang lectured him. Shen Yiyan put Lu Shuang down on the bed and looked at Wu Nian. You'd better get out, unless you want to watch the battle. Wu Nian, she blushed and looked at Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang struggled but couldn't get up. Shen Yiyan, you're bullying a defenseless woman and a child. What kind of hero are you? Are you a defenseless woman and a child? You don't know how powerful your mouth is. Shen Yiyan retorted. Wu Nian, she left the room and closed the door for them. According to the usual practice, she wouldn't be able to see Lu Shuang today. Wu Nian walked out of the room and followed the address on the internet to the cruise ship sales office near the sea. The salesman walked up to her enthusiastically. How can I help you? I want to buy a cruise ship about 20 meters long for my own residence. It should have all the facilities. The equipment inside should be more advanced. It's best if it can be piloted as long as the coordinates are set. Wu Nian made her request. We've launched a new model of cruise ship. All the equipment inside is imported. It's exactly what you need. It's 22 meters long and 8 meters wide. It has 3 floors. The salesman took out a brochure. He continued. The ground floor is a warehouse with a fridge for food and sundries. There are 2 rooms of 20 square meters on the first floor. One is a bedroom and the other is a living room. There's also a kitchen that leads to the underground storage room. There's a bar in the kitchen. There's a viewing room and an operating room on the second floor. There's also an open-air viewing platform and fishing platform on the roof. Also, if you buy it now, we'll give you a lifeboat. It's usually placed by the side of the ship. Once you're in danger, you just need to press the emergency button. It can be lowered in a minute and automatically filled with air. Sounds good. How much is it now? Wu Nian was tempted by the picture. Miss Wu, why are you here? A man's voice rang out. Wu Nian turned to look at him. She didn't know him. Chapter 402. Wu Nian replied. Her eyes were covered with a thin veil. I'm here with a friend. I won't disturb you then. Oh, okay. Zhang Xingyu replied. Miss Wu, the original price of this model is 1.08 million, but we're having a promotion now. The price is 980,000, so you can enjoy a discount of 100,000. In addition, we also have exquisite gifts for you, such as a rice cooker, an oven, and a lucky draw. You have a chance to win a refrigerator. There are also electric motorcycles and motorboats. The salesperson introduced enthusiastically. Leave your name card with me. I'll tell my friend. If she needs it, she'll contact you later. Wu Nian said with flagging interest. Oh, okay. The salesperson still handed her the name card with enthusiasm. Wu Nian walked out of the sales office. She did not go back. Their place was close to the sea, so she went to the pier. There were many people selling seafood there. There were octopus, swimming crabs, hairfish, shells, prawns, and some sea fishes. The air was filled with the smell of fish. There were many fishermen, but there were not many people buying. Wu Yan wanted to buy swimming crabs. But then she thought about it. There was no kitchen in her hotel, so she gave up. She walked casually by the sea, enjoying the salty sea breeze. She remembered that she and Gu Lingqing were sitting by the sea, enjoying the sea breeze. The fire in the pile of stones was very hot, and the wild boar stewed bamboo shoots in the pot was bubbling. The fire dyed their faces red. There were only the two of them there, but she did not feel lonely. Her heart had never felt so peaceful before. Now, she was alone for the rest of her life. She wandered around the bustling city. Other than feeling more lonely, there was not a day that her heart felt at ease. She did not know where she was going, nor did she know where she could stop. Every day, she lived in loneliness and despair. In front of her, an old lady carrying a bamboo basket fell to the ground. She ran over and wanted to help her up. "Old lady, are you okay?" The old lady sat on the ground and grabbed her hand. She shouted, "Help! Someone hit me." Wu Yan looked at her and asked calmly, "Are you sure you want to do this?" "Miss, this is the blind spot of the camera. I just need to insist that it was you. I don't want much. Give me 200. Otherwise, I'll make things worse." The old lady lowered her voice. The corners of Wu Yan's mouth twitched. Using the kindness of others to extort money, even if you live comfortably in this life, there will always be retribution on you or your children. "What did you say?" "Believe it or not, I will tear your mouth apart," the old lady said fiercely. She had learned one thing when she was studying psychology. Because of lack of confidence or extreme fear, people would put on a more ferocious front to hide their inner uneasiness, or in other words, they wanted to escape from something. The old lady was stunned. She was stunned when she saw the old lady. The old lady was stunned. The old lady was slightly stunned. She took the money and Wu Yan turned to leave. She sat under the shade of the tree for a while, staring at the blue sea in a daze until the sun set. She took the money. Wu Yan turned and left. She sat in the shade for a while, staring at the blue sea until the sun set. She found a seafood buffet. The moment she entered, she saw a girl putting the food on the table. Therefore, some people like to live for others to see and find a sense of existence in the envy and praise of others. She chose a seat and casually ate something. She took out her phone and played Hank the dog for a while to pass the time. Her phone rang. It was Lu Shuang. She picked it up immediately. Lu Shuang did not say anything. Wu Yan had a bad feeling. Lu Shuang was not like this usually. "What's wrong? What happened?" "Shen Yiyan will accompany me for a week on this trip. He will increase it when he's not around. He should know that I'm leaving. What should I do?" "The people he sends must be elites," Lu Shuang said worriedly. "Don't worry. There's no such thing as an impenetrable wall. Shen Yiyan's guards are the same. I have an idea, but it may put Shen Yiyan in danger. The more dangerous Shen Yiyan is, the less his people can take care of you, and the more likely you are to escape," Wu Yan said thoughtfully. "Put Shen Yiyan in danger?" Lu Shuang paused. "Although he always forces me, if I let him die, will it cause turmoil in the country?" "It will only put him in danger." "He won't die." "Yes." "Okay. I guess we'll go on a trip the day after tomorrow. I hope everything goes well," Lu Shuang prayed. "Should be, but... However, I guess Shen Yiyan will confiscate your phone during the trip." Wu Yan guessed. "Then what should I do?" "I know of a reagent that is injected into the arm. Ordinary instruments can't detect it. Only professional instruments can monitor and track it. I'll contact them. I should be able to find it. Let's meet tomorrow." "Okay. Have you had dinner?" Lu Shuang asked. I've eaten. I'm going back. Where are you now? I'm already in the manor. See you tomorrow. Lu Shuang hung up the phone. Wu Nian called back. When she was in the car, she thought for a long time about who she should ask for help. She couldn't ask Gu Lingqing, and Su Jiran didn't want to provoke her anymore. It seemed that only Alan could help her. However, it seemed that she would never be able to pay back what she owed now. Therefore, it was difficult for her to speak. In the midst of conflict, she arrived at Iran Clubhouse unknowingly. She entered the room. The room had been cleaned, and the bedsheets had been changed. It was as if no one had stayed in it. She threw her bag on the sofa and sat on the sofa alone, in a daze for a while. Dignity and shamelessness didn't seem to be important in the life of a friend. She dialed Aaron's number. My grandmother was talking about you just now, and you called. What a coincidence, Alan said with a smile. No matter when she called, he would be clear. Wu Nian felt warm in her heart. There's one thing. When Lu Shuang comes out, there might be guards following him. Moreover, I can't get in touch with him. As long as he comes to England, even if there are a few guards, I'm confident that I can help you save your friend. Don't worry. But I might not be able to contact my friend, so I don't know where they are. Alan chuckled and said confidently, I have England's heavenly eye. No matter where they are or what they are doing, I can find them. Just leave it to me. Don't worry. Hearing Alan's words, she seemed to be relieved. She didn't even have to think about how to transfer the guards. Thank you, Alan. You're welcome. We're friends, hee. We're friends. Wu Nian repeated Alan's words and hung up the phone. Chapter 403. Wu Nian came to the door and looked through the peephole. There were two men in suits. She had a bad feeling and didn't open the door. Miss Wu, we know you are inside. Open the door. Mr. Shen asked us to come. The man outside said. Wu Nian furrowed his brows. Mr. Shen? It was Shen Ian's men outside. She opened the door and asked, Shen Ian, what's the matter? Mr. Shen asked us to pick you up. You'd better ask Mr. Shen in person. Got it. Wu Nian closed the door and followed them. After getting in the car, they confiscated her bag and put a blindfold on her. Wu Nian had expected this result. Shen Ian had never been easy to deal with. He had stepped on many people's bodies to get to where he was now. His ruthlessness was self-evident. She leaned back in the chair calmly. When a person had seen through life and death and had no nostalgia for the world, he could still be calm in the face of great danger. The car drove for more than an hour and made a turn every 10 seconds. As far as she knew, there was no such road in City A. So she might be in a secret underground base of Shen Ian. After making a turn, the car drove for another 10 minutes and stopped. Someone took off her blindfold. Sorry to offend you, Miss Wu. Please follow me. The man in black military uniform said coldly. It doesn't matter. Wu Nian got out of the car and followed the man in black military uniform. She stopped after passing several doors. There were 8 soldiers stationed in front of this door. Wu Nian guessed that it was where Shen Ian was. The guard knocked on the door. Come in. Shen Ian's voice came from inside. The guard opened the door. Wu Nian saw Shen Ian sitting at the desk. He was looking down at the documents. When he saw Wu Nian coming over, he closed the documents, put them in the briefcase and ordered, "Get out." With a command, the man and woman who were originally in the room left the room and closed the door. There were only the two of them in the room. Shen Ian stood up and asked lightly, "What kind of wine would you like to drink?" Wu Nian slightly raised the corner of his mouth and calmly said, "Red wine." Shen Ian walked to the wine cabinet and opened a bottle of Lafite. Then she took 2 wine glasses and put them on the tea table. When she poured the wine, she said, I didn't expect Lu Shuang to have such a powerful friend. Wu Nian sat down on the sofa opposite Shen Yiyan. I didn't expect that Shuang Niu would provoke a president. Shen Yiyan handed the glass to Wu Nian. Strictly speaking, I'm your savior. Wu Nian took the wine glass from Shen Yiyan's hand. Strictly speaking, I never wanted to live. Shen Yiyan raised her eyebrows. Then I should thank you. If it wasn't because Lu Shuang wanted to save you, he wouldn't have stayed by my side and wouldn't have given birth to my son. I'm trying my best to make up for the mistakes I've made. Mr. President, you must have guessed it. Wu Nian raised his head and drank the wine in one gulp. Aren't you afraid that I'll deal with Gu Lingqing? A cold wind flashed in Shen Yiyan's eyes. Isn't Gu Lingqing someone you've always wanted to deal with? It won't change because of me, Wu Nian said calmly and put down the glass. I've always thought that Gu Lingqing was an invincible person. However, he has a weakness, and that is you. Now, it seems that you're the true invincible person. Since that's the case, let's make a deal. Wu Nian looked at Shen Yiyan's overly sharp eyes. I don't think there's a deal between us. I love Lu Shuang, Shen Yiyan said in a low voice. Wu Nian's heart skipped a beat. He frowned and looked at him suspiciously. He didn't believe it at all. Otherwise, why do you think I tried so hard to keep her by my side? I knew that once she was exposed, would lose my reputation, but I still kept her. She scolded me thousands of times, but she could still live safely, Shen Yiyan said firmly. Do you think Su Jiran loves me? Wu Nian asked. Shen Yiyan pursed her lips and stared at Wu Nian. After 10 seconds of silence, she said, Do you think Su Jiran doesn't love you? I don't see love in him, only possession and destruction. Similarly, I don't see love in you, only possession and destruction. Look at your place. The walls are made of copper and iron. Even your desk is made of composite materials. That's because you know how dangerous your situation is. I can guarantee that once Lu Shuang's identity is exposed, the first person to die will not be you, but her. That can be seen from the murder at Stephen's place. Do you think your subordinate is the mastermind? Wu Nian said sharply. I can guarantee that as long as I, Shen Yiyan, am alive, she will definitely not die, Shen Yiyan promised. You and Shuang Niu have known each other since you were young. You should know her as well as I do. She is simple, loyal, straightforward, impulsive, but kind. She will never plot against others or plot against others. She doesn't like restrictions. She likes a free life. As long as she wants to do something, she will do it naturally and naturally. Look at what you are giving her now. A restricted life without freedom. She is struggling at death's door every day. She can't move freely, and she has to be separated from her children. She is like a canary in a cage. Most importantly, she has to bear the crime of being a mistress. If you were an ordinary person, it would be fine. But you are the president. You will be recorded in the history books. She will be written as a femme fatale and become notorious. So, she would rather lose everything to fly freely. Shen Yiyan gritted his teeth. His eyes were sharp. He said with certainty, Then I will break her wings. At least, as long as the master doesn't fall, the canary's life will not be in danger. Shuang Niu will hate you for the rest of her life. Shen Yiyan threw the wine glass in his hand to the ground. He held Wu Nian's shoulder and looked at her deeply. I love her. You are destroying her. In my opinion, a married man has no right to love another woman. I have never touched my wife. Lu Shuang is my only woman. One day, I will make her my legitimate wife, but not now. I have my responsibilities and my family's mission. My wings are not fully grown yet, and there are still many people eyeing me covetously. Once I decline, they will accompany me to the grave. Once I fall, there will be hundreds and thousands of people. You should not drag Shuang Niu down. She is innocent. Wu Nian said with pity for Lu Shuang. That is why I want to negotiate with you. I will let Lu Shuang go, but you must tell me where she is. When I solve all the problems, I will go find her. I believe that no man in the world will love her more than me. Only I can give her true happiness. After all, Xiao Bao is my son. I don't think other men will love Xiao Bao sincerely. Shen Yiyan's eyes were misty. Chapter 404. She had seen many breakups and reunions in the world. Some people were very loving in marriage, but after 10 or 20 years, they got divorced, and after the divorce, they would never contact each other again. Marriage was as thin as paper, and most of the time, the best bridge to maintain a marriage was children. Children were the things that truly existed, and they were much more useful than a marriage certificate. Regardless of how much he loved Shuang Miao, there was Xiao Bao between them. He had seen too many joys and sorrows, and the weakness between family, friends, and lovers. Shen Yiyan was willing to risk his reputation to keep Shuang Miao by his side. Although he was autocratic, Shuang Miao could be willful in front of him. On the other hand, it showed that he really doted on Shuang Miao. Shuang Miao might not encounter such a pure love in the future. I can help you, but I need you to promise me a few conditions. Wu Nian softened his tone. Say it. Shen Yiyan released the hand that was holding Wu Nian's shoulder. First, before you get divorced, you can't go find Shuang Miao. Wu Nian talked about the conditions. Shen Yiyan agreed without thinking. Second, if Shuang Miao finds the man she loves before you solve the problem, you can't disturb her life. Shen Yiyan's eyes hit a cold light, and he said coldly, yes. Third, if you are still the president when you marry her, Shuang Miao's personality is not very good at hiding, and she may be schemed against by others. You have to firmly believe in her, tolerate her, and help her. That's for sure. I won't let her suffer, even if I destroy everything. Other than me, no one can bully her. You can't either. Shen Yiyan, he paused, fine, I won't bully her. Let her bully me. I need you to swear that if you can't do the above, I will make your parents live a life worse than death, and your reputation will be ruined. Wu Nian looked at Shen Yiyan's eyes. Vicious enough. Shen Yiyan replied. Are you going to swear or not? Shen Yiyan raised her hand. If I don't love Lu Shuang, I'll lose my reputation. If I don't do the above, I'll let my parents live a life worse than death. Is that okay? Wu Nian nodded. I'll tell Alan about Shuang Miao's last resting place. A glint flashed across Shen Yiyan's eyes. She raised the corner of her mouth slightly and said, then I'll have to trouble you. I'll get someone to send you back now. Besides, you know what to say and what not to say, right? What do you think? I don't know how Shuang Miao is so lucky to have a friend like you, Shen Yiyan said meaningfully. Shuang Miao is a blessed person. Please send me back. After Lu Shuang settles down, I will tell you her address. Don't forget what you promised. Shen Yiyan closed her eyes, opened the door, and ordered the guard outside, send Miss Wu back. Yes. The guard led the way outside the door. Looking at Wu Nian's back disappearing in front of her, Shen Yiyan ordered the adjutant beside her, I know where Lu Shuang is. Keep an eye on her 24 hours a day. I want her to never escape. Wu Nian was sent back. She looked at the time. It was already 3:00 in the morning. It should be 8:00 in the evening in London now. She dialed Alan's number. You haven't slept yet? Alan said softly. Alan, there's a change in the situation this time. Shen Yiyan talked to me just now. He will deliberately let you leave Lu Shuang. Huh? Deliberately? What do you mean? Alan was confused. You deliberately save Lu Shuang and settle her in England for 10 days. Don't let anyone take her away. After 10 days, transfer her to D-Land, but tell me her exact whereabouts. It sounds more interesting than before. Are you willing to tell me the reason? Alan asked in a good tone. Shen Yan said that he is willing to set Lu Shuang free until he regains his freedom. I want to test him and tell him a fake address to see his reaction. If he really does as he promised, I will tell him the real address. Alan smiled. Can I say that the devil is 1 foot higher than the law? Ha ha ha, you are so smart. I will take it as a compliment. Yes, but I might need your help too. Alan said awkwardly. Go ahead. As long as she could do it, she would do it without hesitation. She didn't like to owe others, but she had owed a lot of people before. In her heart, she couldn't get over it, such as Lu Shuang and Mu Xiaoxiao. My grandmother wants to come to a land next month. After all, you are my friend. I may have to trouble you to come out and meet me. I thought it was something important. That's what I should do. Text me when you confirm the time. Well, okay. Go to bed now. It's late. It's not good for your skin to sleep so late, Alan said with a smile. She felt relaxed when she was with Alan. Okay, good night. See you next month. Good night. See you next month. Wu Yan hung up the phone, took a shower, and lay on the bed. Her imagination ran wild. Every time she thought of Gu Lingqing, she would feel a faint pain in her heart. It was a very bad feeling. Fortunately, she would be free soon. Her heart would not hurt anymore, and all the feelings would disappear. She turned over, but her face was wet. Life was like a dream, smoke, and illusion. Most things would not go your way. She just had to get used to it. She fell asleep in a daze. When she woke up, it was already 12:20. After washing up, she called Lu Shuang. What do you want to say? I've been waiting for your call for a long time, Lu Shuang said anxiously. Alan said that as long as you go to the UK, he has the third eye, and he can definitely save you. Third eye? What third eye? Is he bragging? Lu Shuang was worried. Wu Yan thought that Lu Shuang was anxious and his brain was temporarily short-circuited. She explained in detail, it refers to the surveillance system. Now every road and every community has surveillance. As long as you go to the UK, he can use the surveillance system to find you quickly through facial recognition. Oh, I remember now. That's what it means. Recently, I haven't been eating well and sleeping well. I feel that my brain has declined. Hey, I can't take it anymore. I have to hang up. Shen Yan is here again. I'll talk to you later. Lu Shuang hung up the phone in a hurry. Wu Yan sighed. Even if Shen Yan really loved Shuang Niu might not be able to accept him in a short time. After all, they did not have a good beginning, and their status was too far apart. She got up and her phone rang. She saw that it was a landline number and answered. Who is this? Hello, Miss Wu. I'm from the yacht company. Today is the last day of the yacht that you liked last time. In order to show everyone's love for this yacht, we will reduce the price by another 50,000 yuan. On top of that, we will also give you a jet ski. If you miss today, you won't have another chance. Well, I'll order one, but I want a brand new one. There must be no quality problems. Don't worry, Miss Wu. Our company has been established for 30 years and has always had a good reputation. When will you pay the deposit? In the afternoon. Zhang Xingyu received the call and replied to Gu Lingqing, Miss Wu really bought the yacht in her own name. Do you still want to buy it? Chapter 405. Lu Shuang was going to England, and Wu Yan was going to see him off. Lu Shuang held Wu Yan's hand tightly and said reluctantly, Xiao Bai, don't bear the burden alone. You'll feel better if you tell me. When I'm not by your side, write it on the letter and pretend to tell me. Then you'll feel better. Wu Yan nodded. Okay. Lu Shuang's eyes turned red. He sniffed and choked with sobs. I'll miss you. Don't forget me. Let's be friends in our next life. Wu Nian saw Lu Shuang crying, and his tears flowed down instantly. He nodded and helped Lu Shuang wipe his tears. He said, "Remember, be careful with your words and actions. You can only rely on yourself outside. When you're very angry, listen to a song and calm down for 5 minutes before making a decision." "I will. Once Shen Yan has a new lover, tell me. I'll sneak back to see you. I think he'll have a new lover soon," Lu Shuang said with hope. Wu Nian's eyes darkened. He did not say anything. Seeing Shen Yan walking over, he said concisely, "He's here. Take care." "Okay," Lu Shuang replied. He couldn't help but feel sad. She didn't know when she would be able to see her good friend again after going out this time. Shen Yan walked to Lu Shuang and put one hand in her pocket. She said meaningfully, "It's not like you'll never see him again. Why are you crying?" Lu Shuang wiped his tears. "Why do you care if I'm sad? Do you care about other people's feelings?" Shen Yan held Lu Shuang's shoulders and pulled him into her arms. "Go out and have fun. I should be the one who's sad." He turned around with his arms around her. Lu Shuang looked at Shen Yan in confusion. "You're a person who can come and go as you please. Why are you sad? Don't you know why I'm sad?" Shen Yan and Lu Shuang's voices were getting further and further away. She didn't turn around until they got on the plane and it was out of her sight. Now, apart from waiting for news, he was going to get a yacht driving license. From the training ground to the restaurant to the hotel, and from the hotel to the restaurant to the training ground. It was much easier to get a driving license on a ship than a car. She got her driving license in a week and could drive her own cruise ship out to sea. The place she wanted to go the most was the deserted island. Fortunately, she remembered the latitude and longitude and adjusted it on the machine. The boat was driven by herself. She just needed to check if there was any mistake from time to time. However, before she left, she bought a lot of ingredients. It took 8 hours to drive from City A to the deserted island. She checked out of her room and set off at 8:00 in the morning with 3 barrels of diesel. The weather was good today. Perhaps it was because she was at sea. It was almost October and it was a little chilly. She wrapped herself in a blanket and stood at the head of the bed, looking at the endless ocean. This would be her future life. She would stay at sea for a long time without any signal and live a life far away from the world. Occasionally, she would go to the shore to buy some ingredients. She would not inquire about anyone's news. She would struggle to survive until she could no longer live. At 4:00 in the afternoon, she approached the island. From afar, she saw something different. Using the binoculars given by the shop, she saw a house by the sea. She had a strange feeling in her heart. Who built a house here? Another 10 minutes later, the cruise ship approached the shore. She saw it clearly. It was a 3-story cement house surrounded by a 2.5-meter high wall. Outside the wall was a circle of ditches for storing water. There was only one way to the iron gate. The iron gate was locked. The owner should not be inside. She did not expect that there would be people living here. If one family came, maybe there would be a second family. Or maybe she could teach here. Wu Nian did not get off the ship. She docked the ship 50 meters away from the shore. At night, she simply cooked porridge and scrambled eggs with tomatoes. After eating, she lay on the deck chair at the bow of the ship, covered herself with the quilt and counted the stars in the sky. The cold wind blew. Even with the quilt, she felt cold to the bones. The colder it was, the lonelier she felt, even if she had arrived at the place she once wanted to return to the most. There was no man in this place anymore. She looked at the sky in a daze, thinking about what would happen after death, thinking about starting over, thinking about what if. Unfortunately, there was no answer in the end. She did not know whether to feel asleep or not. When she was in a daze, she felt that someone beside her was looking at her and lifted her quilt. She wanted to open her eyes but could not. She wanted to speak but could not. She wanted to sit up but could not move her body. After struggling for a while, she did not wake up, so she simply gave up. Life or death, it did not matter. Thinking of this, she felt her body was light as if it was about to float out of her body. She floated into the air and suddenly sank into unconsciousness. In the morning, she was woken up by the birds. Her head was dizzy and her nose was a little blocked, as if she had caught a cold. She sniffed her nose and got up to brush her teeth and wash up. She saw 2 wolves walking on the beach. Gradually, there were 3, 4, 6, 12. One of the wolves saw her and howled. The other wolves looked at her. If she and Gu Lingxing had encountered this group, it would have been a fierce battle. Even if Gu Lingxing's marksmanship was good, he could not have killed so many of them. Therefore, they were lucky. At least they did not die so miserably. Those wolves looked at her for an hour, but finally gave up and left with their heads down. Wu Nian cooked some porridge again. She put a few slices of ginger and red dates in the porridge and ate a bowl with tofu. After that, she ran on the treadmill for half an hour. She was so dizzy that she did not even take a shower. She took a pill and drank a glass of water. Then she lay on the bed and fell asleep again. When she woke up again, it was almost noon. Her cold did not get better. It got worse. Her nose was watery and her breathing was not smooth. She asked for it. She felt cold and shouldn't have laid outside to enjoy the wind last night. She cooked some porridge and lay on the bed to watch the movie she downloaded on the computer. She spent a week in a daze. The funny thing was that the wolves came for 5 days in a row. On the 6th day, they judged that she would not go ashore, so they did not come again. On the 8th day, she returned to City A. On the one hand, she wanted to see how Lu Shuang was doing now. On the other hand, she might not have received the message that Alan had told her when to come. She left at 7:00 in the morning. She would receive the signal at 14:00 in the afternoon. Her phone kept ringing. Many of them were from Shen Yiyan and Alan. She called Alan first. "Where have you been?" "I couldn't find you anywhere," Alan said in a low voice. "I got my boat license and went out for a few days. There was no signal on the boat." "I'm sorry to have made you worry," Wu Nian said apologetically. "You are living a free life." Wu Nian just smiled. "Or I am stubborn. I have rescued Lu Shuang for 2 days. I will send the address to your phone later. I will transfer her in 8 days, right?" Alan said with certainty. "Yes, and make sure that no one takes Lu Shuang away during this period." Chapter 406. What's the matter? Wu Nian had a bad feeling. "Let's talk when we meet." Alan hesitated. Wu Nian heard his heavy tone and was a little anxious. "Since you've asked, you know that if you don't tell me, I won't be able to sleep every night." "Tell me." "I don't know. My grandmother has investigated you. She found out that you went to a sanatorium and met a deceased person. The deceased person looked exactly like my grandmother's friend. You were very sad in front of the grave. She wanted to know your relationship with the deceased person." Alan said in a low voice. "Mother, she is my mother, by Bing. She grew up in an orphanage and tasted the bitterness of the world. She suffered from an incurable mental illness." Wu Nian didn't hide anything. "Then you? Maybe you're the descendant of my grandmother's friend?" Alan's tone was very regretful. "I don't know. My mother is already dead. I had a bone marrow transplant, and my DNA has changed. Maybe the DNA in my brain and spleen hasn't changed, but it's not convenient to extract them. Besides, even if I'm proven to be the descendant of your grandmother's friend, it won't change anything for me. Besides, even if it's confirmed that I'm the descendant of your grandmother's friend, it won't change anything for me." Wu Nian explained. "What if your grandfather has always wanted to find you? After all, you're the only descendant of his beloved wife. He feels that he owes his wife. He will make it up to you. Alan tried to sound her out. I don't need to make it up to him. His wife is already dead. No matter how much I make it up to him, it will only make him feel better. His wife can't feel it. If he didn't treat his wife better when she was alive, it would be too late for him to treat her better after she died. Since he has done what he owes, since he owes her, he will owe her for the rest of his life. Wu Nian said coldly. What if I ask you to see her? Alan said in a low voice. Wu Nian looked down. If it wasn't for Alan's request, she would definitely not meet him. She knew that once she admitted it, many people, things would be involved. She would also mess up other people's lives. She didn't want to. But Alan's request, she twitched the corner of her mouth. She couldn't reject him because of his help. Okay. On October 15th, your grandfather and my grandmother will come to a land together. See you then. Alan said with a clear voice. Okay, I'm hanging up. Send me Lu Shuang's address. Wu Nian said and hung up the phone. He lay on the recliner and looked at the blue sky. The white cloud sometimes turned into the shape of a white horse, and sometimes into the shape of a mermaid. It was ever-changing and never fixed. Alan sent him a message. She sat up and called Shen Ian. I thought you had disappeared. Shen Ian said in a weird tone. I'm out to sea. There's no signal on the sea. Sorry, Wu Nian said in a low voice. Where is she now? Shen Ian asked angrily. Her breathing was uneven and it was transmitted to Wu Nian's ears through the phone. Don't forget what you promised me. First, you can't disturb Shuang Miao's life before you regain your freedom. Second, if Shuang Miao finds a lover, you should help her. Third, don't bully her. Wu Nian reminded him again. Are you done? If you are, tell me where she is. Shen Ian said coldly. Wu Nian's eyes darkened. Shen Ian didn't agree. But if he went back on his word, she would make sure that he would never find Shuang Miao again. I'll send you the address. I hope you can keep your promise, Wu Nian said. He hung up the phone and forwarded Alan's message to Shen Ian. There was still 1.5 hours before the ship docked. She went to the kitchen to make egg fried rice and tomato shredded meat soup and ate a little. When she reached the shore, she replenished her water, fresh vegetables, and fruits. She also bought 2 hens that could lay eggs, a poodle, some dog food, toys, and a doghouse with a roof. She set off to the deserted island again. She made a circle with a mat on the roof and put the hens in. She made a pot with straw and covered it with a bamboo board. The doghouse was placed at the bow of the ship. She put the toys in the doghouse and set the automatic sailing at night to locate the deserted island. She went back to her room to sleep and set the alarm. It was 5:20 in the morning. The dog was barking so fiercely that Wu Nian was woken up before the alarm went off. She felt the ship shaking so much that she couldn't even get out of bed. She swayed and opened the door. The sea was stormy but there was no rain. The sky was slightly white. She closed the door and went to the bathroom to brush her teeth. She put on a jacket and walked to the bed. The dog saw her and barked even louder. Wu Nian carried it out. It was very dirty. She took the dog into the bathroom and put it in the sink to take a bath. The dog was very resistant at first. It struggled and tried to bite Wu Nian's hand. She gave the dog a few mouthfuls of dog food and it calmed down. Wu Nian helped the dog bathe and dried its fur with a hairdryer. What do you think of your name? Little Qing, how about this name? It sounds very sunny, Wu Nian said to the dog. Woof woof. The dog barked twice. Wu Nian gave the dog a biscuit. Then you'll be called Little Qing. You like it too, right? Woof woof. The dog barked twice again. Wu Nian gave the dog another biscuit. The dog was much more stable in her arms and no longer barked as before. Due to the wind and waves, the ship arrived at its destination 2 hours late. It was 8 o'clock when she arrived at the deserted island. The sun was out and the wind and waves had subsided. She was surprised to find that the previously closed iron gate was opened. She could see that there was a courtyard inside. There was a well and a parasol in the courtyard. Under the parasol was a table, a recliner, and a blanket on the recliner. There were 3 rooms in the 3-story building. There were several rooms upstairs, and several more rooms upstairs. She was surprised and looked around. There were no beasts coming in or out. She remotely controlled the ladder and got off the ship with the dog in her arms. She slowly walked to the front of the house, knocked on the door and asked, "Is anyone here?" Woof woof, woof woof. The dog barked. No one answered her. Wu Nian was nervous and scared. She walked further inside and shouted, "Is anyone here?" Click. The door was opened. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. There was no surprise in his eyes. Perhaps he had recognized her when he heard her voice. Wu Nian's heart was beating fast. He said not to see her again. She had thought that this house was built by him, but she didn't think that he would come here after falling out with her. "I'm sorry." Wu Nian apologized and turned around. "Little Yen is sick," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Chapter 407. Thalassemia. He has been sent abroad for treatment, but the doctor said that the best way is hematopoietic stem cell transplant. My parents' blood is not suitable, Xiao Xian's blood is not suitable, and my blood is not suitable. What about me? Wu Nian's eyes dimmed. My bone marrow has been changed. Yours is not suitable either. Gu Lingqing looked at her and said. Wu Nian's mind felt empty. The sea breeze blew on her face, making her feel sad. In her life, she had less happiness than pain, and more setbacks than prosperity. Nothing good had happened to her. Could it be that she had done too much evil in her previous life, and the retribution was on her child? A strange look flashed across Gu Lingqing's face. If we want to save him, we'd better have another child. Wu Nian raised her head and looked at Gu Lingqing calmly. Her eyes were too calm, without a trace of emotion. Gu Lingqing gritted her teeth and sneered. She said sarcastically, "Of course, if you don't want to save him, I won't force you. Maybe you can find a match in a few years, and then you can leave. It's hard for me to get pregnant. You don't have to explain. It's your freedom to save him or not. Anyway, the child has nothing to do with you. You have never wanted him," Gu Lingqing said harshly. She turned around and closed the door. There was a loud bang. Wu Nian stood outside the door. There was a pain in her heart that slowly flowed into her limbs and bones. It was so painful that she was so numb that she was fixed on the spot and couldn't move. She had been looking for her child all the time. As long as there was a little news, she would try. As soon as she woke up, the first thing she did was to make sure that Gu Lingqing was safe. When she knew that her child was still alive, she was so excited that she cried. She had been in a coma for a long time. It was very painful to take medicine. She knew that she didn't want to see Gu Lingqing. Because from the moment she jumped into the sea, she decided not to drag Gu Lingqing down. She wanted to see her child and take care of her child. Now, in Gu Lingqing's eyes, she was such a cold-blooded mother. How could she leave her child to die? But, she went to the door and knocked. After waiting for a few seconds, there was no movement from the other side of the door. The dog barked and the door opened. Gu Lingqing looked at her condescendingly. "I don't know if the next child can save Xiao Yan, so it's best not to give up on finding a suitable match," Wu Nian said. Gu Lingqing understood what she meant. With a cold face, he said in a low voice, "Come in." Wu Nian carried the dog into the house. There was a bed, a sofa, a television, a computer, a water dispenser, and a treadmill in the house. How did you get here?" "I don't see any boats outside," Wu Nian asked in confusion. "Plain," Gu Lingqing said concisely and sat down on the sofa. He glanced at the opposite sofa and gestured for her to sit. Wu Yan sat down with the dog in her arms. When will you be free? Let's go to the hospital for a checkup and confirm the day of ovulation, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. I'm free at any time. Gu Lingqing looked at her quietly. For me, having a child with you is just to save my son's life. There is no emotional involvement between us. When the child is born, the child will be mine, and it has nothing to do with you. Do you agree? Wu Yan nodded. I also believe that the child will be better with you than with me. There was a sharp light in Gu Lingqing's eyes, with hatred and disgust. How much do you need as compensation? Although she knew that he deliberately made her feel bad, which was why he attacked her self-esteem and personality, she really felt bad. I have money. Thank you for your generosity, Mr. Gu, but I don't need it. I don't know what people like you need. Family, friendship, love? You can watch Xing Batian die, you can send Lu Shuang away with your own hands, and you can even cut off your former love. You don't need anything. Are you a monster? Even a monster can't be so cold-blooded, right? Gu Lingqing said sarcastically. Wu Yan raised her chin, looked at him with fear, and tried to hold back her tears. She was not afraid of rumors, slander, harm to others, and life and death. Gu Lingqing's words, on the other hand, could directly strike her soul. She might really be a monster. From the moment she was born, she was a lonely star. The people around her, the people who loved her, and the people she loved, none of them had a good ending. Mr. Gu is not me. Of course, you don't know what I need, and you don't need to know what I need. Wu Yan said coldly. Before I met you, I never regretted anything. After I met you, I regret everything I did, Gu Lingqing said sharply. Do you regret everything? Wu Yan's strong will was broken into pieces by him. She knew that if she stayed any longer, she would only be weak and crying. There was no need to show these things. She lowered her eyes, stood up, and said coldly, I will go to the hospital for a checkup today, and I will inform Mr. Gu when the results come out. She couldn't wait to turn around. Her tears flowed uncontrollably and fell on the dog. Perhaps the dog also felt its owner's pain, and it barked. Wu Yan rubbed the dog, quickly got on the boat, entered the cabin, put down the dog, and operated the computer. Gu Lingqing said that she was a monster. She was a monster. After he met her, there was nothing he didn't regret. That's right. Ever since he met her, nothing seemed to be good. Even if she had tried hard and struggled, in the end, nothing was good. Now, her child was also sick. When Xiao Yan was alive, she didn't fulfill her responsibility as a mother. If Xiao Yan died, she wouldn't let him die alone. Maybe, after death, she could take care of her child. Tears streamed down Wu Yan's face as she designed the return route. The screen sounded an alarm, and she realized that because she left in a hurry, the ladder wasn't retracted. She pressed the button, and the ladder automatically retracted. The boat also started to move, and began to return. She stood at the window of the cabin and looked at the house. Gu Lingqing didn't come out. He was cold, as if no one lived in the house, as if she was no longer in his heart. Wu Yan cried quietly, looking up at the blue sky. Is a person's fate predestined? Destined to be poor or rich, healthy or sick, happy or sad? If it was destined, why did she have such a fate? She had never taken the initiative to hurt others. Wu Yan felt terrible. She squatted on the ground, her body curled up, and her tears fell on the floor. Woof, woof, woof. The dog barked at her. Chapter 408. It was already 5:00 in the afternoon when she reached the shore. It was too late for her to go to the hospital for a checkup as she was still feeling a little dizzy from the flu. She didn't dare to take her medicine and drank a lot of hot water in preparation for having a child. She lay on the bed for the whole night, feeling dizzy and sweaty. The next day, she woke up at 4:00 and couldn't sleep, She cooked porridge and played with Hank the dog on the bed. Unknowingly, she played for an hour and the porridge was already kept warm. She got up and cooked scrambled eggs with tomatoes. The dog woke up too. She fed it some dog food and squatted in front of the kennel. Xiao Qin, I'm going out today. Be good at home. Woof, woof. The dog barked. The corners of Wu Nian's lips curled up slightly. She fed him some more dog food and went back for breakfast. After eating, it was only 6:00. She changed into her sportswear. Perhaps it was because she had not recovered from her cold, but her body felt weak. Usually, she would run for an hour or two, but she only ran for 40 minutes before getting off the treadmill. She took a hot shower, changed her clothes, and before leaving, she gave the dog water and set off. At 10:00 in the morning, she had already completed the checkup and received the report. Her period wasn't normal and the doctor advised her to take care of her body. Her ovulation period was from October 5th to October 10th. She walked out of the hospital and looked through her phone. She didn't see Gu Lingqing's number. She remembered that she had already blacklisted and deleted his number. Shen Yiyan should have Gu Lingqing's number and so should Stephen's. She didn't want to ask them for it. Gu Lingqing would probably contact her later. She put her phone in her bag and went back to bed. She slept again when she woke up in the middle and wanted to sleep again. She was woken up by the ringing of her phone. She had a terrible headache. She looked at the caller ID and answered, "Hello." "Hello, is this Miss Wu Nian?" The other party asked. Wu Nian found the voice familiar. "What's the matter?" "I'm President Gu's assistant, Zhang Xingyu. We've met before. Do you remember me?" Zhang Xingyu said politely. "Okay." Wu Nian sat up. "Did you forget to contact President Gu? President Gu is very angry right now. Hurry up and contact him. Otherwise, we will be in trouble," Zhang Xingyu pleaded. "I don't have his number," Wu Nian said apologetically. "I'll send it to you now," Zhang Xingyu said and hung up before Wu Nian could reject. Gu Lingqing narrowed his eyes and asked Zhang Xingyu, "What did she say?" "She said she doesn't have your number, but I'll send it to her now," Zhang Xingyu explained. Gu Lingqing's pupils shrank sharply, cold stars flashing in his eyes. No wonder he couldn't get through to her. Not only had she blocked him, but she had also deleted him. There was a fire in his body, rising to the top. When Wu Nian called, his eyes were sinister. He asked, "Where are you?" and not, "What should I say after the checkup?" Wu Nian paused. "According to the report, my ovulation period is from October 5th to October 10th, shouldn't it be before the 7th and after the 8th? Gu Lingqing's voice was even colder. "My period is not accurate. It's best to go for a checkup every month. Currently, it's from October 5th to October 10th, Wu Nian explained. "Got it. Tell me the date and I'll get someone to pick you up." "Wu Nian, what you're doing now is useless, right?" Gu Lingqing looked ahead sharply. "Weren't you an obstetrician? Did you return all the knowledge you learned to the hospital and your teacher? The sperm can stay in your body for a week." "Oh." She was in a daze and couldn't react in time. "I'm on the cruise at the pier. Remember to take a shower after dinner." "I don't want to waste time," Gu Lingqing said coldly. "Oh." As soon as she finished speaking, Gu Lingqing hung up the phone. Wu Nian got out of bed and fried some shredded meat with water chestnuts. She heated up the porridge she made in the morning and ate it. After that, she drank a big bowl of water chestnut soup, took a shower, and fed the dog. The dog was very happy to see her. It wagged its tail and even spun around. She now knew why so many people liked dogs. Other than companionship, she could clearly feel that the dog liked her. She squatted in front of the dog's kennel and fed it a few biscuits. The dog ate 2 biscuits and suddenly barked at the pier. Wu Nian stood up and looked at the pier. Zhang Xingyu was walking towards her car. When he saw her, he had a flattering smile. Wu Nian patted the dog's head. I'm going out for a while. You stay at home and look after the house. The dog barked. Wu Nian added water for the dog, locked the door, and walked towards the pier. Miss Wu, do you need to bring some clothes? Zhang Xingyu reminded her. Wu Nian blushed. No need. I'm coming back today. Oh. That's not what I meant. Wu Nian, what did he mean? She got into Zhang Xingyu's car and closed her eyes to rest. After driving for an hour and a half, the car stopped in front of a villa. Zhang Xingyu opened the door of the car and said respectfully, Miss Wu, we're here. Wu Nian got out of the car and followed Zhang Xingyu in. She did not see Gu Lingqing. President Gu should be working in the study. Go up to the second floor, the second room on the left, Zhang Xingyu said as he stood by the stairs. She remembered that he used to live in a small house with Xiao Yan and Xiao Xian. When did he get this villa? Also, it did not look like it was newly renovated. Could it be that he bought an old house? What did it have to do with her whether Gu Lingqing bought a new house or an old house? She really knew how to worry. Wu Nian went upstairs and stood at the door of the study. She knocked on the door. Come in. Gu Lingqing's voice came from the room. She pushed the door open and entered. He glanced at her, then looked back at the computer screen and said in a low voice, Sit for a while. Wu Nian nodded respectfully and sat down on the sofa. She hung her head and waited for a while. Gu Lingqing did not call for her. Unknowingly, her eyes were on his face. He was focused on the computer. When he was working, he looked colder than usual. His eyes were sharp and he exuded a strong aura. He was like an arrogant king. Whether it was a soldier or a businessman, Gu Lingqing was able to excel in both fields. She felt proud of him, and the corners of her mouth turned up slightly. Gu Lingqing looked at her. Wu Nian was caught red-handed. She lowered her head guiltily. Gu Lingqing's expression softened a little. He closed the computer. Have you taken a shower? Yes. Wu Nian answered. Follow me. Gu Lingqing got up and walked out of the door. She followed him into the room next door. Take a seat first. I'll take a shower. Gu Lingqing said. Okay. Wu Nian answered. Chapter 409. His room was simple as usual. There was a bed, 2 bedside cabinets, a television, a hidden wardrobe, and a flower stand by the window. There was a plate of kaffir lilies on the flower stand, elegant and fragrant. Gu Lingqing opened the bathroom door. He walked out with only a towel around his waist and looked at her coldly. Do you want me to help you take off your clothes, or do you want to do it yourself? I'll do it myself. Wu Nian lowered her head and took off her coat and undershirt. She was much thinner than before. Was she even 90 kilograms now? If you get any thinner, you'll feel like a skeleton, he said coldly. He held her waist, turned around, and pressed her down on the bed, looking down at her from above. Wu Nian looked down and refused to look at him. Gu Lingqing gritted his teeth. How boring. Gu Lingqing sat on the bed. Wu Nian felt a little cold. She wrapped her coat around her body and looked at him in confusion. Gu Lingqing lit a cigarette and leaned against the bed. He exhaled a thick cloud of smoke that landed on Wu Nian's face. She choked and turned her face away. Gu Lingqing moved closer to her and lifted her chin to face him. I have to get hard to want you. How can I feel anything when you're like this? Wu Nian pushed his hand away. Then take the medicine. Will the child be better after taking the medicine be born? Or do you not care if the child is born an idiot? Gu Lingqing said sarcastically. Wu Nian furrowed his brows. Can't you speak properly? Do you feel better every time you say that? Then can you do your job properly? If you don't do your job well, don't expect to be treated well, right? And you've learned psychology, Gu Lingqing retorted coldly. Wu Nian was speechless. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything either. The atmosphere was tense. She looked at him and softened her tone. Aren't we doing this for Xiaoyan? Why else do you think I still want you? However, some reactions can't be forced. You've already given birth, so you should understand, Gu Lingqing retorted. Wu Nian understood his hint and pounced on him. She lowered her head and took the initiative to kiss his lips. Gu Lingqing didn't respond and just looked at her coldly. Wu Nian was a little anxious. She put her hand under his towel. Gu Lingqing held her hand. Wu Nian looked at him and met his deep eyes. He was embarrassed. Did he want to have a child with her, or was he just trying to humiliate her? Gu Lingqing looked at her bright eyes, put out the cigarette in his hand, held her waist, pressed the back of her head, and kissed her lips. Wu Nian heaved a sigh of relief. Just like that, he wanted it. Because it was too sudden, she clenched her fists in pain and frowned. Gu Lingqing looked at her expressionlessly. There wasn't a hint of lust in his eyes. She didn't dare to face him. Her eyes were on his abdomen. She wasn't sure if it was because of the exercise or because she was sick, but she was sweating profusely. After the session, she was so tired that she didn't want to move at all. Gu Lingqing got up coldly and walked to the bathroom. He didn't look at her. Get dressed. I'll get someone to send you back. I'll pick you up tomorrow at the same time. Wu Nian replied, okay. In Zhang Xingyu's car. She looked at the time. It was already midnight. It would take 1.5 hours to get from Gu Lingqing to her place. She sat in the car and let her imagination run wild. Zhang Xingyu looked at her again and again. He seemed to want to say something but stopped himself. What's wrong? Wu Nian asked suspiciously. I feel that President Gu treats you quite differently. He was so uneasy when he didn't hear from you that he couldn't even do his work. Now that you're willing to come, I can tell that he's in a much better mood. He's calmed down a lot, Zhang Xingyu said with a smile. That's because he's worried about Xiaoyan. Wu Nian explained. She was saying it for herself. Xiaoyan? Why? Zhang Xingyu was puzzled. Wu Nian guessed that Zhang Xingyu didn't know the real relationship between her and Gu Lingqing. She couldn't be bothered to explain. She just smiled and didn't want to say anything else. She looked out of the window. It was very dark outside. Even the places with street lights were not bright enough. It was pitch black. She closed her eyes and pretended to sleep. She accidentally fell asleep. When she woke up, her nose was filled with the smell of disinfectant. She opened her eyes in surprise. Zhang Xingyu was standing by the bed. You're finally awake. Zhang Xingyu smiled. Did I sleep for a long time? Wu Nian wanted to get up. My dear lady, just lie down and rest. You had a fever yesterday. Don't you know it? Zhang Xingyu pressed her down. She guessed that she had a slight fever. That was why she ate a big bowl of water chestnut at night. It had the effect of cooling down. I might have caught a cold from the sea breeze. What time is it now? Where's my bag? Your bag is in the cabinet. Don't worry. President Gu said that you can rest in the ward until you recover. He was there last night and even found 2 caretakers for you. I know that President Gu cares about you a lot. I've never seen him treat any girl so well. But, you're also very beautiful. You look beautiful. Zhang Xingyu smiled and scratched his head. Wu Nian looked down. Was Gu Lingqing there the whole time? Thank him for me. I'll try my best to recover. Wu Nian promised. I don't need to stay in the hospital. I still have a dog to take care of. That's not a good idea. If President Gu knew that you left the hospital without permission, he would be angry. I know what I'm doing. Wu Nian saw that Zhang Xingyu was in a dilemma. She took out her bag from the cabinet and called Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing hung up on her. Did you call President Gu? President Gu should be in a meeting now. Send him a message. He should be back after the meeting. Zhang Xingyu reminded her. Wu Nian wrote a message to Gu Lingqing. Before she finished writing the message, Gu Lingqing called. What's the matter? He asked coldly. Well, I just caught a cold and have a fever. I don't need to stay in the hospital. I can take the medicine home and hang it myself. It's the same. If you knew how to take care of yourself, you wouldn't have fainted from the fever. If it wasn't for Yen, I wouldn't care about you. Just stay in the hospital. I've brought your dog home. Don't worry. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up first. I'm in a meeting. Gu Lingqing said coldly. After that, he hung up without giving her a chance to speak. Oh my God, President Gu stopped the meeting to call you. I think he's in love with you. He's a workaholic. He's never been like this before. Zhang Xingyu was surprised. Wu Nian didn't bother to explain. Her phone rang again. It was Alan. She didn't answer it directly. Instead, she said to Zhang Xingyu, I'm a little hungry. Oh, I'll buy it for you. Zhang Xingyu said cleverly. Wu Nian didn't answer until Zhang Xingyu left. Chapter 410. Wu Nian's heart sank. What happened? Just now, someone wanted to kidnap your friend, and there was a gunfight. Your friend's mother died trying to save your friend, Alan said. What? Wu Nian's mind was buzzing, and her nerves were numb. She couldn't believe it was the truth, and she was flustered. She wanted to confirm again. You said that Lu Shuang's mother is dead? I'm sorry, I didn't keep my promise. There were a total of 10 of them, and they were all top-notch foreign mercenaries. My men killed 9 of them, and the last one committed suicide, Alan said. Wu Nian was silent, and her heart couldn't take it anymore. How could Shuang Niu provoke these mercenaries? How could these mercenaries know where Shuang Niu was? The only explanation was that the news came from Sheniyan. Wu Nian hung up the phone, and her eyes were red. She called Sheniyan. Sheniyan didn't pick up. She clenched her fists and continued to call. This time, Sheniyan picked up. Did you do it? Wu Nian asked directly. No, I wouldn't hurt her, Sheniyan said. But the news must have come from you. Shuang Niu didn't offend anyone, and she almost died because of you. Wu Nian clenched her teeth. I'm investigating it now, and I'll give you an explanation, Sheniyan promised. What's the use of giving me an explanation? Will Lu Shuang's mother come back to life? We're all sinners, and I shouldn't have told you Lu Shuang's address. If I didn't tell you, his mother wouldn't have died. Wu Nian's heart ached as she recalled the loving look of Lu Shuang's mother. Lu Shuang must be very sad now. I'm sorry. Shen Yiyan hung up the phone. Before she could grieve, Alan called, and Wu Nian answered. Was it you who told Shen Yiyan my address? Lu Shuang asked. Wu Nian could not deny it. I'm sorry. Why did you do that? Lu Shuang roared, I regard you as my only friend. I stayed by Shen Yiyan's side because of you. Because he said he loves you, Wu Nian explained. He said he loves me? Don't you know whether I love him or not? I wanted to get out of his captivity, didn't you know? Even if you want to tell him my address, you have to discuss it with me first. I told you everything, but you didn't tell me anything, and even stabbed me in the back. Are you my friend or not? Now that I think about your help, I feel disgusted, Lu Shuang complained while crying. Wu Nian knew that Lu Shuang was very sad now. She couldn't refute her accusation. I'm sorry. What's the use of sorry? My mother died right in front of me. She even took a bullet for me. For you, I once gave up my parents who loved me the most for 2 years. I hurt them all to protect you. But what did you do? You actually secretly told Shen Yiyan my whereabouts. What did you want to do? You wanted to kill me. Baya, why did you become so cold and heartless? Lu Shuang accused hysterically. I'm sorry. Apart from this sentence, all her explanations and self-righteousness were blank. After all, it was her fault. She should not have told Shen Yiyan the address. I'm sorry. I don't want your sorry. I will never forgive you for the rest of my life. I won't let you go either. Lu Shuang roared and hung up the phone. Wunyan felt as if her heart was being cut by a knife. Blood was flowing out, and her body was so cold as if she had fallen into an ice house. What did she do? Everything she did was wrong. She should have died when she jumped into the sea. That way, Shuang Niu wouldn't have lost her freedom because of her. She wouldn't have killed Shuang Niu's mother. She wouldn't have made Gu Lingqing hate her so much. Xiao Yan might even be fine. It was all her fault. Her fault. Wu Yan burst into tears. She turned around and knelt on the bed. She hit the wall with her head 3 times. She couldn't die yet. Xiao Yan was still waiting for her to save him. She couldn't die yet. Wu Yan knelt on the bed weakly. She let the blood flow down her cheeks. She didn't call for the doctor or ask for help. Zhang Xingyu came back with breakfast. Seeing that Wu Yan had fainted on the bed, he immediately called for the doctor and performed emergency treatment. After some time, she opened her eyes and saw Gu Lingqing standing at the head of her bed. When he saw that she had woken up, his eyes flashed with hostility. He held her chin and gritted his teeth. You can die, but don't kill Xiao Yan. When you give birth to a child with matching blood, you can die like this. But before you have a matching child, you don't deserve to die, and I won't let you die. From today onwards, you will move back to my villa. Wu Yan looked at his hateful, fierce, and disgusted gaze. She pursed her lips and didn't say anything. Her tears flowed quietly. They used to love each other, and they would die for each other. How did they become like this? She should be the memory that Gu Lingqing wanted to erase the most. Why was she like this? Why was she like this? Her family, friends, and lover all hated her. Even if she died, it wasn't good for others to talk about her behind her back. She was in pain. But, who could tell her what she should do? It was as if she was cursed by fate. Every step she took would bring destruction. I'm sorry. Wu Yan said these 3 words in a hoarse voice. Gu Lingqing was stunned, and there was a flash of pain in his eyes. The person you should be sorry to is not me, but Xiao Yan. Think about Xiao Yan. He didn't have a mother since the day he was born. Now he has to give up on him. Isn't he too pitiful? I didn't want to give up on him. Then what are you doing now? You killed yourself by hitting the wall. If you found out later, you would have died. Gu Lingqing said angrily. He clenched his fists so tightly that the veins on the back of his hands were bulging. I didn't want to kill myself. I'm just too sad. I killed Lu Shuang's mother. Shuang Niu could have taken her parents away and started a new life. It was me who told her address to Shen Yiyan. Wu Yan explained while crying. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened. His palms were filled with her tears. You can sympathize and feel guilty for Lu Shuang's mother. Why don't you feel sorry for me? Don't you know how much I've done for you and how much I've sacrificed? It's because you've done and sacrificed a lot for me. So, I don't want to hurt you anymore. My existence is just a burden to the people around me. Chapter 411. Gu Lingqing stared at her. So, you pushed me away just because you were afraid of dragging me down? Isn't that so? When I jumped into the sea, I never thought about coming back to life. Lu Shuang sacrificed himself to save me, and then I killed his mother. If I were to be with you, things might change. You might offend Shen Yiyan in order to help me save Lu Shuang, and Shen Yiyan would deal with you. Shen Yiyan is a ruthless and cunning person. You are just a businessman now. Even if you have your father's support, you might not be a rival. You are just a businessman now. And Su Jiran. Su Jiran is a psychopath. If he knew that I am Baya, he might frame you again. It is not because he loves me, but because he is not reconciled to it. Wu Nian analyzed and gradually calmed down. She seemed to have said something she shouldn't have said when she was emotional. She should have let Gu Lingqing continue to hate and hate her, instead of saying everything because of the pain. Gu Lingqing's eyes became calm. He reached out and wiped the tears on her face. Baya, you are a doctor. You shouldn't be so superstitious, and you shouldn't have so little confidence in me. If I can't even do this for you, I don't deserve your love. Baya pushed Gu Lingqing's hand away. I am not superstitious. I am deducing it based on facts. And the result? Did you deduce that Lu Shuang's mother would die? Gu Lingqing asked. At least, Baya paused and continued, you are still safe now. So, because of your self-righteousness, you changed your appearance and even your bone marrow. Gu Lingqing's voice became cold. I changed my bone marrow for emergency treatment. Wu Nian explained. The two of them fell into silence. Gu Lingqing stood straight and looked at her with his deep eyes. Baya lowered his eyes, not daring to look him in the eye. Just like that, half an hour passed. It felt like a century. Baya, what is life to you? Gu Lingqing asked in a low voice. Baya looked up at him and said simply, responsibility. What is your responsibility? Gu Lingqing asked. Baya pursed her lips and said nothing. Do you want me to say it for you? Your responsibility is your mother, Yan, Lu Shuang, and me, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya still did not speak. Your mother is already dead, little Yan is about to die, Lu Shuang was sent away by you. I am also someone you don't want anymore. Is it, your next step, you are going to kill yourself? Gu Lingqing said coldly. I won't commit suicide. Yan won't die. Lu Shuang will be fine. Baya promised. You mentioned Yan and Lu Shuang, but you didn't mention me. Baya, are you really going to be so cruel to me? Gu Lingqing's eyes turned red. You will be fine in the future. Baya added. Gu Lingqing sneered. Why? Is it because you won't be a burden? You seem to have forgotten what you said on the deserted island. I remember everything in the past. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have almost died on the sea. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have almost died on the deserted island. To me, you being alive is my biggest hope, living like a zombie. Gu Lingqing raised his voice and interrupted her. His eyes were as red as blood. Do you think I'm willing to live without you? Baya stared at Gu Lingqing. She couldn't control her tears anymore. Gu Lingqing held her hand with great strength. It was as if he wanted to hold on to her for the rest of his life. His gaze was firm and sharp. I'm also very tired. Every day of this kind of life is torture, hatred, disgust. Either we stay together, no matter what difficulties we encounter. Even if we die together. Or, you, me, Xiao Yan, the three of us don't need to live anymore. Our family will leave this world and go to another world. There's no other world. People can't come back to life after they die, Baya said while crying. Then do you think there's any meaning for me to live? I can't eat well every day. I can't sleep. Even if I close my eyes, my heart hurts like a knife. I want to die immediately to stop this pain. You can find a better one. You also deserve a better one. You can also find a better one. Why don't you find one? Since you've changed your appearance and even your DNA, you can live a new life. Why did you appear in my world? Why did you buy a boat to go back to that deserted island? Why did you risk your life to save me when you were at Stephen's place? Gu Lingqing asked coldly. He asked coldly as his chest heaved up and down unsteadily. Baya pursed her lips. She couldn't answer and turned her face away. Gu Lingqing didn't let her retreat. He turned her face so that she was facing him. I also want to forget you and live a new life, but I can't forget you just because I want to. Every time I think that you might die, I feel very painful. It's been 2 years. It's not 1 or 2 days, 1 or 2 months, but 2 years. If you don't appear, I don't know how long I'll be in pain. Or maybe one day when I drink too much, I'll die of gastric bleeding again. There was a fluctuation in Baiya's eyes. She heard about him going to the hospital. Later, when Xiao Yan came back, he stopped drinking. Baiya, either we live together or we die together. You choose. I respect your choice. Gu Lingqing said firmly and let go of her chin and hand. Baiya looked down. He didn't give her a multiple-choice question. She only had one choice. How could she bear to let Gu Lingqing and Xiao Yan die? She held Gu Lingqing's arm. You must live well. Otherwise, I won't be able to forgive myself. Gu Lingqing held her hand and sat down by her bed. He looked at her with burning eyes and stroked her tear-stained face with his thumb. Baiya, we've experienced life and death, separation and hurt. I only ask for one thing. Don't think about pushing me away again. Otherwise, I may be faster than you think. I may die faster than you think. Baiya took a deep breath. She was emotional and hugged Gu Lingqing's waist. I don't want you to die. I want you to live proudly. Promise me, you must live well. Then you must promise me that you will never leave me. Even if we die, we will die together. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baiya cried and didn't answer. Either we live together or we die together. I'm not joking or threatening you. I mean what I say. Think about it carefully. Gu Lingqing said and pushed her away. Chapter 412. Let's talk about it later. Gu Lingqing didn't want to promise her. You've been in a coma for a long time and you haven't eaten anything. You should be hungry. Gu Lingqing's reminder reminded her that she hadn't eaten for a few meals. She hadn't eaten for a day, but she didn't seem to feel hungry. Gu Lingqing turned around and went out. She stared at the white ceiling for a while, wondering how Lu Shuang was doing. She took out her mobile phone and called Alan. How is Lu Shuang now? Baiya asked worriedly. She cremated her mother and is not in a good mood. Shen Yiyan's men are around. They are just watching but not doing anything, Alan said in a low voice. Please transfer them to Country D as soon as possible. Shen Yiyan has an enemy in Country D, which is the weakest. Relatively speaking, Lu Shuang will be safer there. Moreover, the mastermind has tried to assassinate Lu Shuang twice. This time he didn't succeed, and I suspect there will be a third time soon. Baiya said in a deep voice. Okay. I'll transfer her tomorrow. Are you okay? I don't think it's your fault. You've prepared for everything. You just want her to be happy. I've told everything to Lu Shuang. If you want to blame someone, you can only blame me for not doing a good job. I'm sorry, Alan apologized sincerely. You've tried your best. In fact, it's my fault. If I didn't have Shen Yiyan, this wouldn't have happened. I just thought that Shen Yiyan loved her, but I didn't consider Lu Shuang's thoughts or discuss it with her. I was self-righteous. You don't have to comfort me. I understand. Baiya didn't want to shirk the responsibility. Well, after I send her to Country D, I'll tell you her address. Wait for a suitable opportunity. You can tell her in person that your relationship is so good, and she will forgive you. It's precisely because she's good that the damage is magnified. After you send her to Country D, don't tell me her address. I don't know, and it's safer for her. Baiya said apologetically. That's fine too. You don't have to be too sad. Perhaps, this is her fate. I hope she'll be fine in the future. Baiya saw Gu Lingqing coming in from the door. I'll hang up first. Thank you. You're welcome. You might be Grandpa Tang's granddaughter. I should help you. Alan hung up the phone. Gu Lingqing put the dishes on the bedside table and asked tentatively, Alan's call? I asked him to take care of Lu Shuang. Baiya didn't deny it. Baiya, would you rather ask someone else to do something for you than me? Gu Lingqing said coldly. Because I have a selfish motive. Gu Lingqing paused and roughly understood what she meant. She opened the plastic bag and said in a deep voice, I won't allow it in the future. Your man isn't so useless and useless. Baiya felt warmth in her heart. She reached out and hugged Gu Lingqing's waist. She leaned her head on his waist. I don't think you're useless and useless. In my heart, you're amazing. I just don't want you to be in any danger. Gu Lingqing looked down at her thin and weak body. Her eyes softened a little. I'm not afraid of danger. I'm just afraid that you won't trust me. On these 2 points, we must balance and be on the same page. I won't do it in the future. I'll tell you everything. Baiya said softly. Gu Lingqing moved her hand away. I've heard this sentence before. I don't know when you're telling the truth. Baiya twitched the corner of her mouth. That's right. There were too many hypocritical words and lies. Even she herself felt that what she said was untrue. She might as well stop talking and look at the plastic bag. What did you buy? You're suffering from a cold and can't eat anything too greasy. I bought you shredded red carrots, tomatoes and eggs, and mullet soup. Eat more. You're too skinny now. Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. She shook the headboard of her bed and placed the food on it. Baiya smiled at him. He was still sizing her up. His eyes did not move away, afraid that he would not see her again if he did. You were at Avril's birthday banquet? You weighed 60 kilograms? About the same. At that time, she had just stopped taking medicine and was still quite fat. I felt that I looked good back then. I'm too skinny now. Really too skinny. Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Baiya replied and lowered her head to eat. Gu Lingqing picked up a piece of fish, removed the bones, and placed it in her bowl. Tears welled up in Baiya's eyes. He had always been nice to her. Even though he said bad things about her before, he was still nice to her now. What did she have to deserve Gu Lingqing's love? She sniffled and held back her tears. She looked at Gu Lingqing. I can't eat so much alone. Let's eat together. Gu Lingqing scooped a bowl of rice quietly. I bought the villa last time. You usually live there. That place is a bit far away. It's not convenient for Yan and Xiao Xian to go to school. Did you renovate the house after the fire? Baiya asked. Gu Lingqing glanced at her casually. You don't live with Yan and Xiao Xian. Baiya's heart skipped a beat. Gu Lingqing frowned. Take care of yourself first. Take care of the kids later. I will take good care of myself and you. I promise. Baiya said anxiously. Yan is abroad and won't be back anytime soon. Are you going to compete with Zhou Hailan to take care of Xiao Xian? Then, when will Yan be back? It's pitiful for him to be alone abroad without anyone to accompany him. The medicine in our country is very advanced. She wanted to see Yan. Yan's foster parents have been hired by me. They are taking care of Yan now. He won't feel lonely. They are the people he wants to see and be familiar with the most. Your task is to take care of yourself. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. She felt that Gu Lingqing did not want her to see Yan on purpose. Yan's condition is very serious, right? Baiya asked worriedly. Don't worry. He can live for 3 years under normal circumstances. It's enough for you to have 3 children. Baiya saw that he was so sure and did not look like he was lying. She lowered her head and ate. Gu Lingqing picked up another piece of fish for her. If you feel bored, you can come and be my assistant. Assistant? I'm not good at it. I've never learned it. Didn't you have a good negotiation with Mo Shui? Besides, I won't ask you to do too much. At most, you will answer the phone in the office, send me messages, organize some meetings, and occasionally accompany me to socialize. I won't ask you to drink. Just bring me home when I'm drunk. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya lowered her head and did not say anything. Chapter 413. I don't think that's a good idea. Baya was not ready yet. Why not? Gu Lingqing asked, staring at her coldly. I think it's better to be an assistant. Marriage is a bit too rushed. Of course you're not in a hurry. You're not even 30 this year, and you have a lot of suitors. Su Jiran and a British aristocrat are gone. Maybe another one will appear. Gu Lingqing said in a strange tone. That's not what I mean. If I'm married, I'll feel uncomfortable being an assistant. Why don't I wait until I'm pregnant? First, I have time to prepare. Second, I can do nothing at home when I'm pregnant. Otherwise, I'll just stay at home and have nothing to do. Baya explained. Don't worry. I won't let anyone know that we're married. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice, and his eyes turned cold. Or do you have other thoughts? You don't want to marry me? No. Baya replied. Give birth to the child. We'll be together for 3 years. 3 years and 2 years. We can get married. That's it. When you're discharged from the hospital, bring the marriage certificate. I can keep our marriage a secret until you want to make it public. Gu Lingqing said domineeringly. She seemed to have no reason to refuse. She had already decided to be with him. If they didn't get married, she wouldn't feel guilty. However, she was still worried. Maybe it was because she had suffered too many losses. Gu Lingqing held her hand. Nothing will happen. I promise. Even if Su Jiran wanted to kill me on the deserted island, I survived. Trust me. Baya nodded. Okay. She lay in the hospital for 6 days. Gu Lingqing let her out of the hospital after the doctor checked her again and confirmed that she was fine. He drove to the villa area. She looked out of the window and glanced at the time. Are you sure I usually live in the villa area? It's a bit far, and I'm alone. Who said you're alone? I usually live there too. You get off work at 4:30. There's no traffic at this time. You don't want others to find out, right? It's safer there, Gu Lingqing said while looking ahead. You also live there? What about Xiao Xan? Baya was surprised. She thought that Gu Lingqing usually lived with Xiao Xian and only visited her occasionally. Xiao Xian has his mother to take care of him. I've arranged a nanny, a home tutor, and a family doctor for them, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Oh, Baya replied. Gu Lingqing looked at her. You care about Xiao Xan? Baya shook her head. First of all, you don't want this child. Secondly, even if you want it, it's your past. I was married in the past. Xiao Xian is your child, and you should take care of him. There are many things that are beyond our control, and there is no better solution. Let's maintain the status quo. Gu Lingqing held Baya's hand tightly. Just don't make me angry in the future. Baya didn't say anything and let him hold her hand. She looked out of the window leisurely, enjoying the rare moment. After driving for a while, Gu Lingqing stopped at the entrance of a supermarket. What do you want to eat for lunch? I'll make it for you. I'll make it for you. What do you want to eat? Baya unbuckled her seatbelt. Gu Lingqing smiled. I'll eat whatever you make besides the crayfish. He got out of the car and wanted to open the door for her. She opened the door herself. He locked the door, walked in front and pushed the trolley. Baya remembered that he liked to eat braised pork with preserved vegetables. She specially bought the best streaky pork, Artemisia selingensis, spinach, cucumber, tomato, and eggs. This is the supermarket closest to the villa. You can buy vegetables here every time you pass by, Gu Lingqing said as he pushed the trolley. Okay. They went to pay the bill together. Baya blushed when she saw that it was a box of birth control products. She took a box. Aren't you going to have a child? Gu Lingqing looked at her. Haven't I been on an anti-inflammatory medication these few days? I can't have a child within a week. I'm still in the ovulation period, Baya explained. Gu Lingqing looked at her with a strange look in his eyes. He took another box. Baya, she lowered her head and looked left and right to ease the awkwardness. The waiter paid the bill. Gu Lingqing carried the plastic bag. She walked behind him, deliberately keeping a 1-meter distance. Gu Lingqing stopped and waited for her. Why are you so far away? We're going to be husband and wife soon. What's wrong with buying condoms together? It was indeed not a big deal, but she was embarrassed. She walked to his side awkwardly. Gu Lingqing held her hand and walked until they got into the car and drove back. On the way, Baya received a call from Alan. She remembered that Alan said that he would only be coming on October 15th. He hadn't arrived yet. She answered the phone in surprise. What's wrong? We've lost contact with Lu Shuang. Baya's heart tightened and she asked worriedly, What do you mean? Was she kidnapped? Where's her father? No, she disappeared on her own. She should have other friends in Country D who picked her up, Alan explained. Baya breathed a sigh of relief. She had heard from Lu Shuang that she had friends in Country D, but Lu Shuang disappeared this time on purpose so that she couldn't find him. It seemed that she hadn't forgiven her. It's good that she's safe. Thank you. Baya thanked him. Her mother just passed away and her mood has been unstable. She'll be fine after some time. After all, you're good friends. She'll be fine, Alan comforted her. Okay. Baya answered and hung up. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing asked. Lu Shuang has completely disappeared. I might never see him again in this life. I'm a little disappointed, but I know that this is the best outcome, Baya said sadly. You have me and Xiao Yan. We'll have other children in the future, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya looked out of the window. She didn't need many friends. One was enough. One was enough. After a while, Gu Lingqing drove home. Before Baya entered the door, she heard a bark. She smiled. Her dog was here too. Gu Lingqing opened the door and the dog ran out, wagging its tail. It circled Gu Lingqing and looked at her. It was stunned for a moment, then it barked again and circled around her. Baya guessed that it recognized her. She squatted down and touched the dog's head. Xiao Qing recognized me, right? Xiao Qing? Gu Lingqing frowned. Oh. That's Qing from Sunny Day. It's not Gu Lingqing's Qing, Baya stood up and explained. I didn't ask which Qing it is, but I don't think this name is suitable for it. Its fur is all white. Let's call it Xiao Bai, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya, this stingy man. Then we'll call it Bai Qing. You call it Xiao Bai and I'll call it Xiao Qing. No one loses out, Baya said. Chapter 4:14. She didn't think of this when she named him. She just thought that the name Xiao Qing sounded very sunny. However, she had always loved him. Baya raised the corner of her mouth slightly and put her hand gently on his waist. Let's be good in the future. Okay. We'll be fine. I'll cook first. I'll call you when it's ready, said Baya gently. I'll usually be in the study. We'll pick up the marriage certificate in the afternoon, said Gu Lingqing. Baya's eyes sparkled. She still remembered that they were very happy when they got married last time. On the day of the wedding, Zhou Hailan came back, leaving her in so much pain that her illness broke out uncontrollably. Now, her mental illness was under control, but she still had some lingering fears. Are you going to let your parents know? It depends on you. If you want them to know, then let them know. If you don't want them to know, I'll never let them know. Even if we have a child, it'll only be our child. Gu Lingqing promised. Baiya was very touched, and her eyes became misty. Gu Lingqing always put her first. She could feel that he really cared about her. In the past, she didn't want to return to the family because she was afraid of changing the trajectory of others' lives. But now that she was going to be with Gu Lingqing, the identity of an orphan was too far away from him. Even if they were determined to be together, it was not a matter of two people, but two families. She needed a respectable identity, to make the barrier between the two of them smaller. She just didn't know if Mr. Tang would be her grandfather. She had her bone marrow changed. Under normal circumstances, the DNA in the bone marrow, blood, and immune system would change, but the DNA in other places, such as organs and muscles, would not change. When the time came, there should be an instrument to extract it. By the way, the DNA in the egg should not have changed. When the time came, they could do a paternity test by using the egg in advance. If it was possible, they could also breed a test tube baby. That way, Xiaoyan would have a higher chance of being saved. What are you thinking about? Gu Lingqing saw that she was meditating and asked. Gu Lingqing, I'm thinking that since my fertility rate is low, we can have a few children through test tube. That way, Xiaoyan can be saved easily. Baiya suggested. Xiao Xian was also born this way. He doesn't seem to have any problems. If everyone had children this way, the world would be in chaos. Baiya held Gu Lingqing's hand. We were forced to do this to save Xiaoyan. Besides, we are also using natural methods to conceive. Anyway, it's not like we can't afford to raise a few more children, right? Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. Lilia, promise me, no matter what happens, you won't leave me, and you're not allowed to be angry. Xiaoyan, Baiya said, looking at him. Xiaoyan is Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan is not sick. Gu Lingqing said. Baiya was stunned. She let go of Gu Lingqing's hand and looked at his eyes. He looked a little uncomfortable. If I didn't do that, you would definitely leave me. Maybe, you would leave me forever. You lied to me. Baiya understood. No wonder he left Xiaoyan abroad and didn't let her see him. She was annoyed and punched Gu Lingqing on the shoulder. Do you know how worried I was? You lied to me and didn't let me take care of Xiaoyan. Gu Lingqing, you went too far. Gu Lingqing clenched her fist and said helplessly, didn't you go too far? You pretended not to see me. Even when we met on the deserted island, you wanted to leave immediately. Are you going to let me have children all the time? Having children is not my goal. But in order to keep you, I am going to keep saying that the children are not suitable for you. Gu Lingqing was honest. Baiya pulled her hand out and turned her face away. Gu Lingqing hugged her from behind. I don't know what to do either. You're not willing to be with me, and you have other plans when you face me. You're not even prepared to tell me. Even when I'm angry, insulted, and hurt without restraint, you're determined to leave. Baiya, when we were together, we were still young. Now we are going to be middle-aged. Life is only a few decades. I don't want to waste time chasing after you. Let's be together. Baiya listened to his voice and gradually calmed down. Compared with Gu Lingqing, she had made more mistakes. Only by giving people a chance to turn around could she have a bright future. She was not angry with Gu Lingqing. She turned around and hugged Gu Lingqing, leaning her head on his chest. Can you let Xiaoyan go home? Xiaoyan's illness is fake, but it's true that someone poisoned him. I am worried that I don't have enough time to take care of him, so I sent him abroad and let his adoptive parents take care of him. If you want to see him, I can take you there. But wait for me to arrange it. And it's better not to do so for the time being. In case someone follows us. Poisoned? Is it Zhou Hailan? Bai Ye was worried. Gu Lingqing shook his head. No, my people are watching Zhou Hailan closely. It's not her. Xiao Exin? Bai Ye felt a little creeped out when she thought that such a young child could learn how to poison people. No, I have people watching him and Zhou Hailan. Bai Ye was worried. Then who could it be? I found an old servant on my mother's side, but the old servant had already committed suicide. I checked the old servant's family, and they had all immigrated to country X 3 months ago. I asked my friends over there to check, but they didn't find the old servant's family. I suspect that they might have changed their identities. They disappeared into the crowd. It's more likely that they were killed, Gu Lingqing guessed. Then who could it be? Why would they want to harm Xiao Yan? Xiao Yan is still so young. He doesn't have any enemies. If they want to deal with you, why didn't they target you? Bai Ye was confused. I don't know. I can't find out. It's just like when Xiao Yan went missing. Then how did you find Xiao Yan? Bai Ye was surprised. During that period, I drank every day and went to the hospital with gastric bleeding. Someone sent Xiao Yan to me and said that he was my son. I did a paternity test. I also asked Xiao Yan and your mother to do a paternity test to confirm that he was our child. So, those people sent Xiao Yan to you because they were afraid that you would die? Chapter 4:15. Bai Ye understood. Then we'll take one step at a time. We'll be careful and wait for the enemy to reveal a flaw. Gu Lingqing kissed Bai Ye's forehead. So, let's let nature take its course regarding the child. We already have Xiao Yan anyway. Bai Ye nodded. I'll go cook first. She turned and entered the kitchen. Gu Lingqing followed her into the kitchen. I'll help you. Bai Ye smiled and lowered her head to wash the vegetables. She said softly, the life I miss the most is when we were on the deserted island. We rose at sunrise and rested at sunset. There were surprises every day and we forgot about our troubles. It was like a paradise on earth. When Xiao Yan grows up, I'll give the company to Xiao Yan. We'll go live on the island. I've already bought the island. It's mine now. I've asked scientists to study it. Under normal circumstances, the island won't sink within 100 years. I'll find someone to slowly build a protective belt. Protective belt? What do you mean? It means that the island is divided into 2 parts. One part is for the wild beasts to grow naturally. The other part is to prevent the wild beasts from coming over so that we can live safely. Snakes, insects, rats, and ants can dig holes, right? Bai Ye smiled. I'll also do some protective work on this part, but there's no rush. I estimate that it'll take at least 2 years to complete it. After it's done, we can also go on vacation. If you're worried, we can stay on your ship for the time being. I'll also install a satellite positioning system there. When the time comes, we can contact the outside world. It won't be in a state where there's no network or signal, Gu Lingqing imagined. Sounds good. I remember a poet called Tao Yuanming. He wrote a story called Peach Blossom Spring. It's roughly about him passing through a narrow cave and arriving at a paradise. The people there planted fertile fields and raised chickens and pigs. They were far away from conflicts and didn't know there were Han. No matter if it was Wei or Jean. They were hospitable. You still remember this? Gu Lingqing was curious. He remembered learning this article when he was young, but he had forgotten most of it. I like these charming poems, especially Li Qingzhao, Li Yu, and Su Shi, Wu Nian chatted casually. Su Shi? Shuidiao Gedu? This poem isn't bad either, but my favorite is his Jiang Qingzi. 10 years of life and death, never thinking about it, naturally unforgettable. 1,000 miles of lonely grave, no place to speak of desolation, even if we meet, we should not know each other, dust-covered face, hair like frost. Baya simply recited a few sentences. I don't feel well. Gu Lingqing put the washed tomatoes on the plate. I think that Su Shi is also a man of love, to be able to miss his dead wife after 10 years. After all, during his time, men had 3 wives and 4 concubines. Baya took the tomato and diced it. Gu Lingqing answered and helped her wash the eggs. Baya took the egg from Gu Lingqing's hand. All right, you've been accompanying me for the past few days, so you must have missed a lot of work. Go and do your work. Anyway, you have to do it anyway. I'll cook alone. All right. Gu Lingqing kissed her on the cheek and walked out of the kitchen. The dog came in and surrounded her feet. Woof, woof, woof. I don't know where to put the dog food. I'll buy you some delicious food when I go out this afternoon. Baya said softly and patted the dog's head. The dog stretched its neck comfortably and whimpered. Baya's smile widened. She washed her hands and began to cook. Half an hour later, the aroma of food came from the kitchen. She took the opportunity to cut a honeydew and send it to Gu Lingqing. When she walked to the door of the study, she heard him on the phone. I don't want anyone to know. Just do this first. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya felt that it was impolite to eavesdrop at the door. She thought for a moment, knocked on the door, and pushed it open. That's all. Gu Lingqing hung up the phone. Did I disturb your work? Baya said apologetically. No, I have a business meeting tonight. Come with me. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and put the phone on the table. Have some fruit. This honeydew is quite sweet. Baya put the honeydew on the table. Gu Lingqing took a toothpick and ate it. His eyes were still on the computer. Baya saw that there was nothing else for her to do. She turned around and was about to leave. Xiaoya! Gu Lingqing shouted. Baya looked at him. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing wanted to say something but stopped. His eyes flickered for a moment. I want to ask, when are we eating? About half an hour. Baya stared at Gu Lingqing. She could tell that Gu Lingqing didn't want to talk to her about this matter. However, he didn't want to talk about it. Even if she asked, he wouldn't say it. Then she wouldn't ask. Baya turned around again. Gu Lingqing didn't call her. She walked out of the door and went to the kitchen. Everyone had secrets and things that they couldn't say. Even if the other party was their other half, they still needed their own space. What she could do was not to burden Gu Lingqing. He didn't want to tell her, so he naturally had his reasons. Half an hour later, she finished cooking. The food was delicious. The dog kept following her. She guessed that the dog was hungry. She went upstairs again. Before she knocked on the door, Gu Lingqing opened it. I wanted to call you for dinner. Baya smiled. I heard Xiao Bai barking. I think the food is ready. Gu Lingqing came out of the study. Oh yeah, where's Xiao Bai's dog food? I think he's starving. Baya called the dog Xiao Bai. Gu Lingqing was touched. He hugged her waist and said softly, in the cabinet above the kitchen. Well, I'll feed him later. Do you usually feed him rice? Baya asked suspiciously. Food. Whatever I eat, he eats. No wonder the dog kept following her when she was cooking. It turned out that he was used to eating human food. Then I'll feed him some later. The biscuits can be a snack. Baya walked towards the stairs. Gu Lingqing watched her make 4 dishes: spinach, shredded pork with Artemisia selingensis, tomato and egg soup, and braised pork with preserved vegetables. Gu Lingqing ate 2 bowls of rice. Baya's appetite was also stimulated by him, so she ate a full bowl. In the afternoon, after she washed the dishes and took care of the dog, Gu Lingqing took her to the Civil Affairs Bureau. She had been married 3 times, so she was very familiar with the process. For safety, she used Wu Nian's ID. After getting the certificate, Gu Lingqing took her to take wedding photos. The reason was that the wedding photos were only for collection, and he would only hang them up if she agreed. Baya saw that he had made up his mind, so she didn't say anything more. She went to the most famous photo studio in City A and made an appointment for next week. Gu Lingqing didn't take her back, but took her to Gu's. On the way, Gu Lingqing held Baya's hand, looked ahead solemnly, and said, "I've thought about it, and I don't think there should be any secrets between us. There's something I think you should know." Chapter 4:16. What? Baya waited for Gu Lingqing to speak. "Xia He has been arrested. She will probably be sent to the military court soon. If there are no accidents, she will be executed," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya's heart skipped a beat. She thought of Xia He's delicate face. She thought that she was miserable, but it seemed that compared to Xia He, she was lucky. Where was she arrested? Baya asked with sympathy in her eyes. She was arrested as soon as she appeared at the airport in a country. The one who arrested her was my former subordinate. He told me before he reported it, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. You think she's a spy? Baya asked as she tugged on her seatbelt. At first, I was sure. I thought that only she and I would survive. If it wasn't her, there wouldn't be anyone else. But then Zhou Hailan appeared. There must be a spy between her and Zhou Hailan. But because Zhou Hailan was disfigured, imprisoned, treated inhumanely, and even had a child, she was more convincing than Xia He in front of the public. After all, Xia He disappeared for no reason and was unharmed, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. So, even if she was wronged, she could only die. Baya's eyes dimmed. Although she had only interacted with Xia He a few times, she felt that Xia He was a good person. He was tough and tenacious. In fact, after Zhou Hailan appeared, I asked someone to keep an eye on her. She hasn't been abnormal for 2 years. If she's a spy, it doesn't make sense. You also think that Xia He is a spy? Baya understood what he meant. To be exact, I don't know. Because I think what you said makes sense. If she's a spy, she shouldn't be so miserable. If she's a spy, there's no need for her to come back. Also, was she arrested as soon as she appeared at the airport? This doesn't make sense, unless someone knows her movements like the back of their hand, Baya said suspiciously. Gu Lingqing stopped the car and looked at Baya with a sharp gaze. Baya looked at him, puzzled. What's wrong? If someone knows her movements like the back of his hand, who do you think it would be? Gu Lingqing asked. Su Jiran? No, when Su Jiran went to the island, Xia He had already left. Shaniyan? No, Lu Shuang wouldn't tell Shaniyan this. Who could it be? Maybe Xia He met someone after he went out? Baya guessed. Gu Lingqing was silent. He looked ahead as if he was thinking about something. What's wrong? Baya held Gu Lingqing's hand and asked worriedly. Gu Lingqing made a call. Ling Shuang, how did you catch Xia He? There was an anonymous call to me. He said that he could catch Xia He at the airport, so I sent someone there, Ling Shuang said. Can you find out who called you? No, the person's phone number is a virtual account, and it's mobile. I suspect that the signal was sent from a car, Ling Shuang said. Cancel the previous decision. Detain Xia He first and report it to the higher-ups, Gu Lingqing ordered again. Baya understood. When he made the call, he ordered, I don't want anyone to know, so you do it first. He probably meant that he didn't want anyone to know that Xia He had been caught and didn't report it to the higher-ups. He also wanted to protect Xia He. Unfortunately, this was a trap set by the enemy. If he didn't let Ling Shuang report it, not only would Ling Shuang die, but he would also die. This trap was very likely to be targeted at him. I'm sorry, Gu Lingqing said to Baya after he hung up the phone. I hope that Xia He is a spy. Otherwise, it would be very unjust. Baya pulled a gloomy smile. I still remember that time when I brought them out and watched them die one by one in front of me. If Xia He wasn't a spy, I wouldn't be able to eat or sleep well for the rest of my life when I saw my only remaining brother die in front of me. Report it to the higher-ups, I will save her, Gu Lingqing said. Qing Qing said in a deep voice. Perhaps, this action of yours is also within their expectations. They will say that you and Xia He are together, so you are a spy. In addition to the fact that you were framed previously, I'm afraid you can't even protect yourself. I think we should take our time to think about it. Bai Ye was worried that something might happen to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing was silent. He started the car and didn't say anything, but his brows were tightly knitted. Bai Ye was worried. Can you arrange for me to meet Xia He? Gu Lingqing nodded. I'll ask Ling Shuo to arrange it. We should be able to meet before dinner. Gu Lingqing didn't go to the company. After contacting Ling Shuo, he asked Bai Ye to go to Ying's secret base after a few anti-tracking techniques. When Xia He saw Bai Ye, he was very excited. He grabbed the metal bars and asked, "Why are you here?" "Yes, why are you back?" Bai Ye asked in return. Bai Ye. Xia He looked around, held Bai Ye's palm, and wrote in her palm. Other than you, I can't find anyone else I can trust. Bai Ye looked at Xia He with a heavy heart. Sometimes, being trusted was also a kind of burden. I also have a lot of things to ask you. I've told you before that if you want to come back, there must be a complete way. Bai Ye held Xia He's hand and wrote in her palm. I know a secret about that operation. Xia He looked at Bai Ye. Bai Ye also looked at her. Her mind was buzzing, as if a bone was suddenly exposed in an airtight egg. It was a creepy feeling. She was very nervous. She pulled out her hand and clenched her fists. The more secrets one knew, the faster one would die. This was always a truth. She was worried that she would fall into a quagmire and be unable to get out. From then on, her life with Gu Lingqing would be in a mess again. Bai Ye. Xia He called her. Bai Ye came back to her senses and stared at Xia He. Perhaps, from the beginning of that operation, Gu Lingqing's life had changed. As his girlfriend, Zhou Hailan disappeared. Many of his brothers died in that battle. When he went back to carry out the mission, he was drugged. After taking her, someone extracted his sperm and made Zhou Hailan pregnant. This meant that there was a group of people behind the two missions. After she was pregnant, someone took Xiao Yan away. When Gu Lingqing was depressed, someone sent Xiao Yan back. After sending him back, someone wanted to poison Xiao Yan. Not only that, Xia He's matter was obviously a trap for Gu Lingqing. The reason for all this was like a huge mystery shrouding her. She slowly reached out to Xia He. Perhaps, the answer to everything was in the secret of that mission. After she knew the secret, she could find the people behind it. From then on, Gu Lingqing and Xiao Yan would be far away from danger and conspiracy. Xia He held Bai Ye's hand. Chapter 4:17. Plead for what? Plead for her to save her, or for something else? Bai Ye realized that her hands were trembling. Xia He lowered her head and wrote down the secret on her hand. That operation didn't really exist. Bai Ye didn't understand. What does that mean? It was a drill. The operation was fake, but the death was real. Bai Ye still didn't understand what that meant. She looked at Xia He suspiciously. Tell Gu Lingqing that he can understand what I mean. So, since the operation was fake, where did the spy come from? Xia He continued to write. Bai Ye felt a chill down her spine. How did you know? I needed money, so I accepted some missions. I went to country S during the mission and got to know a prime minister. I sneaked into their database and found a scandal. The vice president of their country, who was the witness we needed to rescue, had a secret lover in country X. When we went to carry out the mission, the lover was giving birth. This politician announced that he was coming to country X, but in fact, he went to country X. He didn't come to country A at all. If the person we needed to rescue didn't exist, then what was the purpose of the operation? Xia he wrote on Baiya's hand stroke by stroke. He wrote very slowly, afraid that Baiya wouldn't understand. Baiya looked at Xia he in shock. She wasn't the person involved. She had only heard Gu Lingqing talk about the mission. Now that she thought about it, it was terrifying. She shivered. Xia he continued to write, "This is a serious matter. This secret can't be known by others for the time being. I'm afraid it will cause an uproar and affect the relationship between our country and country S." Baiya came back to her senses and wrote on Xia he's hand. "You were arrested as soon as you appeared at the airport because someone made an anonymous call and leaked the news. Did you contact anyone to expose your whereabouts?" This time, it was Xia he's turn to be surprised. She shook her head. "I've always been a loner. Even when I accepted a mission, I didn't tell them my real name. I was even surprised. I had clearly changed my passport. How did I get caught the moment I appeared?" "So, someone has been following you. They should know that you went to S country for a mission." Baiya was worried. "They know that I went to S country to carry out a mission, but they won't know that I know the secret. I'm also alone when I do missions. I'm also worried that if they know that I know this secret, I won't be able to live at all. That's why I can't tell anyone. I only trust you. And Gu Lingqing." In addition, Xia he's fingers paused for a moment, and a fierce look flashed across his eyes. He glanced at Baiya and continued to write, "If I am found to be a spy in the military court and sentenced to death, I will tell the secret. After all, I don't want to die as a spy. I have shamed myself, and I will never be able to wash myself clean in this lifetime. I hope that there will be a win-win situation. I also want to know what exactly happened on that mission. I don't want to be wrong for so many years without knowing the truth." "I understand," Baiya said in a low voice. "Please," Xia he said again. Baiya nodded. She turned around and walked out of the room where Xia he was locked up. Leng Ning walked in front of her and looked at her suspiciously. "You knew Xia he before?" "We met by chance." "Sorry to trouble you." Baiya didn't want to say more. The current her was the same as Xia he. There were very few people who trusted her. "Follow me." Leng Ning led the way in front and handed her over to the soldiers. After taking many detours, she saw Gu Lingqing's car. Gu Lingqing saw her too. He got out of the car and picked her up. Then, he drove away immediately. Baiya didn't say anything. She was afraid that she would affect his driving. After half an hour, their car was on the normal city road. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything either. He looked ahead deeply. After driving for another half an hour, they stopped in front of a manor. "Gu Lingqing, let's talk first." Baiya stopped him. He unbuckled his seatbelt and turned around to face Baiya. He said in a low voice, "Say it." "Xia he said that the mission you took didn't exist at all." Gu Lingqing frowned. "What mission? What didn't exist?" "You brought your brothers to rescue the political leader. Those people were all dead. Only you, Xia he, and Zhou Hailan were left. But, in fact, that political leader was in country X at that time. He didn't come to country A at all. So, the person you saved wasn't the vice president of country S." Gu Lingqing looked at Baiya in deep thought. His eyes darkened. "I know it's hard for you to accept it. After all, many of your brothers died in that mission. You can't just listen to Xia he's one-sided story. I think you can investigate the truth. Also, Xia he said that if she was sentenced to death, she would tell everyone. A week after I brought the political leader back, the vice president, who was a commissioner in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at that time, personally thanked me on TV. That's because his lover was giving birth in country X at that time. He used this incident to cover up his scandal. These were all insider information that Xia he got by chance. Could it be that the person you saved looked exactly like the vice president? Baya was suspicious. When I saved him, his face was covered in blood. I couldn't see his face clearly. Plus, it was too urgent at that time, so I didn't see him clearly. Gu Lingqing recalled. Who did you hand him over to? Who asked you to carry out this mission? Gu Lingqing looked at Baya deeply. My direct superior at that time was Kai Qingyun, General Kai. But he's dead now. Maybe he was also following other people's orders? Who do you think could order him? There weren't many people in his position who could order him. The president, the two vice presidents, and the committee. Gu Lingqing pondered. If it was a fake mission, why did all my brothers die? Baya didn't say anything. She didn't know Gu Lingqing at that time, so she didn't know. If that mission was fake, that means there was no spy at all. He should have been wronged. However, if this matter is exposed, it may affect the relationship between country A and country S, Baya suggested. I'll first send someone to country S to confirm the truth of this matter, then we'll make a long-term plan. Baya lowered her eyes. Hopefully, they had enough time. They entered the private room together. Baya saw that there were 8 people in the private room, but she didn't know any of them. President Gu, please sit down. They deliberately left the main seat empty. Gu Lingqing sat down on the main seat. There was no seat next to him, so Baya found an empty seat and sat down. She had just sat down when she saw Su Jiran walking in with a glass of wine. Chapter 4:18. Hearing Su Jiran's tone, Baya subconsciously felt uncomfortable. She curled her lips and said, my presence here has nothing to do with you, Mr. Su, right? Su Jiran realized that he was in the wrong position. I'm just curious. Miss Wu doesn't seem like someone who likes to mingle in such places. You don't know me. How do you know that I don't like it? Baya retorted. The atmosphere between the two of them was filled with the feeling of mutual hostility. Mr. Su, do you know each other? Someone asked. Su Jiran shrugged and said, sort of. He looked at Gu Lingqing and said, I heard that you're here, so I came to propose a toast. Mr. Gu, you must have a lot of troubles recently, right? What does it have to do with you? Gu Lingqing said coldly. Of course it has something to do with me. We've known each other for so long. I hope that you can live longer. Without your company, my life will be so boring. Su Jiran took the initiative to touch Gu Lingqing's wine glass. You're thinking too much. I'll definitely live longer than you. People who meddle in other people's business usually don't live long, Gu Lingqing said meaningfully. Su Jiran smiled with a hint of schadenfreude. He raised his head and downed the wine in his cup in one gulp. Then he glanced sideways at Wu Nian and said, You're with Gu Lingqing? Baya's heart trembled. She stared at Su Jiran and pursed her lips without saying a word. She's my assistant now. Gu Lingqing helped Baya out of the situation. Assistant? Su Jiran's face turned pale. He looked at Baya unhappily and said, When I invited you to be my assistant, you said that you only knew how to teach. What are you doing now? Miss Wu is really two-faced. She doesn't speak a word of truth. The moon waxes and wanes, and people have their ups and downs. Everything in the world is impermanent. If you want to be specific, Mr. Su is not as charming as President Gu in my eyes. Are you satisfied with this reply? Baya retorted coldly. Su Jiran's expression became even worse. Then, he threw the wine glass into the bin and looked at Baya with a warning look. You will regret this decision very soon. Baya watched as Su Jiran walked out, and his expression darkened. How did the saying go again? It was better to offend a gentleman than a villain. Su Jiran was still a cultured villain wrapped in a gorgeous appearance. She was really afraid of Su Jiran. He was capable of anything. The socializing continued. The others didn't seem to be affected by Su Jiran's sudden appearance, but Baiya was restless. Xiao Nian, help me get the lighter from the car, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Baiya was stunned. She didn't like Gu Lingqing smoking, but there were so many people here, so she couldn't disrespect him. She stood up and walked out. Before she reached the elevator, Gu Lingqing held her hand and pulled her to the balcony on the second floor. Don't worry about what Su Jiran said, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Baiya understood. He didn't ask her to get the lighter, but he called her out. He probably saw that she wasn't in a good mood, so he came to comfort her. In her heart, she was very touched. After going through so much, I know him too well. It's impossible to say that I don't care. I'm thinking about what he said about regretting this decision soon. Does Su Jiran know something? Even if he knows something, it has nothing to do with me. Firstly, he won't tell me. Secondly, he will hit me when I'm down. Thirdly. Gu Lingqing paused. I didn't deal with him before because I wanted him to taste the pain of your death like I did. Since you're still alive, I'm not going to let him go. Baiya was nervous. She held Gu Lingqing's hand. Don't make me regret my decision to be with you. I hope that you'll be safe. If you're safe, I can let go of all my hatred. Gu Lingqing held her hand back. After knowing the secret that Xia He told me, I realized that you're not dragging me down, but I'm dragging you down. Even without you, some things will still happen. So, no matter what happens, don't blame yourself. In my eyes, Su Jiran is insignificant and insignificant. Baiya knew that Gu Lingqing was comforting her. She could tell which things he was dragging her down, and which things she was dragging him down. Anyway, we'll be fine in the future, Baiya said in a deep voice. It'll be fine. Don't worry. I saw that you didn't eat anything before. Go back and eat something. I'll bring you home later, Gu Lingqing said softly. He held her hand and walked back. Baiya subconsciously pulled her hand out. Gu Lingqing turned back to look at her. Gu Lingqing, I love you. I love you more than you think. We still have a lot of things to solve. It's better to have one less thing to do. You're not a superhuman, Baiya said worriedly. Got it. Gu Lingqing did not make things difficult for her. She walked towards the private room first. Baiya walked towards the direction of the washroom. She splashed water on her face. She looked up and saw Su Jiran in the mirror. She was shocked and her face turned pale instantly. Su Jiran crossed his arms and leaned against the door. He looked at her coldly. Does Alan know that you're Gu Lingqing's assistant? I don't need to report my work. Besides, Alan will come to a land on the 15th. I don't need to tell him. He will know. Baiya forced herself to calm down. She deliberately told Su Jiran the date when Alan would come back to China to mislead Su Jiran. You're not majoring in finance, business, or secretarial. Don't you think it's strange that Gu Lingqing specially arranged for you to be his assistant? Su Jiran asked in return. Others have their reasons for arranging it. I have my reasons for accepting it. I only need to think about myself. Why should I think about others? Baiya walked out. Su Jiran took a big step to the right and blocked her way. He looked down at her. I'm curious. What's your reason? Baiya curled her lips. I want to know why you care so much about me. Don't tell me that you really love me. I think the reason why I care about you is the same as the reason why I care about Gu Lingqing. You really look like the woman we love together. Su Jiran examined Baiya's face. Baiya raised her chin and looked at Su Jiran. I'm done. Can you let me go now? Su Jiran did not let her go. Instead, he held her arm. Follow me. What do you want? No matter what you want, I can accept it. I don't lack money. I don't have any relatives. Even my only friend has left me. In other words, I don't have anything I want now. If I do. Baya paused. Mr. Su, you have power, and good looks. Even Mo Shui likes you. You should not lack women. In the future, stay away from me. Chapter 419. Baya curled her lips. What if the woman you love comes back? Su Jiran paused and looked at Baya suspiciously. He let go of his hand and his eyes dimmed. Baya probably won't come back. I think Gu Lingqing thinks the same, so he asked you to be his assistant. Baya caught the strange look in his eyes. Su Jiran, do you want to make a deal? What kind of deal? Su Jiran's hope was ignited. What did you mean when you said that I'll regret it soon? Baya continued to ask. Su Jiran looked at her faintly. Gu Lingqing is doomed. If you follow him, of course, you'll regret it soon. Gu Lingqing will not be able to escape. What does this mean? Wu Nian, don't tell me that you're really worried about Gu Lingqing. Don't tell me you're interested in him. Su Jiran squinted his eyes in suspicion. If you're referring to Xia He, I think you're thinking too much. Gu Lingqing won't save Xia He. Baya made it clear. Su Jiran was slightly shocked. How do you know about Xia He? I know more than you think. For example, that mission is a fake mission, Baya said, scrutinizing Su Jiran. Su Jiran was even more shocked. How do you know? Who are you? I think I should be the one asking you, not the other way around. Who are you? Who are you working for? Wu Nian asked suspiciously. Su Jiran hugged Baya's waist. If you want to know who I'm working for, come to my side. I'll tell you everything. Let go, Baya ordered. So, you stayed by Gu Lingqing's side because of someone's order? Was it Shanian's order? Su Jiran asked. Baya stared at Su Jiran. He was very smart. Even though he was stunned for a moment, he quickly regained his composure. He would not let her get information out of him easily. If she continued to be entangled with him and panicked, she would expose even more. The more you know, the sooner you die. Baya stepped on Su Jiran's foot forcefully. Su Jiran felt the pain and loosened his grip. Baya didn't even look at him and walked towards the private room. I advise you not to follow in Zhou Heilan's footsteps. You've seen what happened to her. She's basically abandoned, Su Jiran said from behind her. Baya stopped in her tracks. She really regretted not turning on the recording. Otherwise, her words might have been useful. She glanced at Su Jiran. You'd better worry about yourself. Su Jiran smiled devilishly. Seems like you don't know much. Your level is very low. Baya turned her face away and walked towards the private room. Along the way, she kept recalling the conversation she had with Su Jiran. Although he was cautious, she still heard some of it. She pushed open the door of the private room. Gu Lingqing was frowning. When he saw her, he relaxed and said in a low voice, "Does it take so long to get something?" "I didn't see a lighter in your car, so I looked for it for a while," Baya said and sat down. "President Gu, don't be angry. I have a lighter here." Director Wu took the opportunity to suck up to him. He took out a lighter and lit it up. Gu Lingqing lit a cigarette and looked at Baya. Baya met his gaze. He gestured to the dishes on the table. She lowered her head and ate. "This is Xiao Wu, right?" "Here's to you," a strange man said to Baya. Baya raised her glass. "She needs to drive for me." "She can't drink," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. "Oh, yes, yes. We abide by the law. We don't drink when we drive, and we don't drive when we drink," Director Wu said quickly. She looked at Gu Lingqing and said with a smile, "President Gu, when are you free? I'll make arrangements for that location." "Thank you," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and looked at Baya. Baya met his eyes again. She put down her glass, lowered her head and continued to eat. Gu Lingqing slightly raised the corners of his mouth, and his heart was filled with warmth. Half an hour later, she couldn't eat anymore. Gu Lingqing said to Director Wu, "I have a child at home. I'll go back first. Zhang will make arrangements for you. Have fun." "Thank you, President Gu," Director Wu said with a flattering smile. "You're welcome." He stood up. Baya stood up as well. He went out. Baya picked up her bag and followed him out. "Be smart next time. You're going out to eat with me, not to drink with me. Every time you say you're going to drive me away, understand?" Gu Lingqing said. "Oh, I forgot," Baya explained. Gu Lingqing pressed the button for the elevator. "Why did you take so long to return to the room? If you came back 1 minute later, I would have gone to look for you." "I bumped into Su Jiran in the washroom." Baya didn't hide it. Gu Lingqing's eyes turned cold. "Stay away from him if you see him next time." "I talked to him for a while." Gu Lingqing turned around and looked at Baya warily. "Talk? What's there to talk about? You've suffered a lot from him, haven't you?" Baya saw that the elevator had arrived. "I'll talk to you when we get in the car." Gu Lingqing didn't say anything. He entered the elevator and looked at Baya. "You can talk now." Baya put on her seatbelt and looked at Gu Lingqing. "I found out a few things about him. First, when I said that the mission was fake, he said, 'How do you know?' 'Who are you?' This means that Su Jiran knows that the mission was fake. I remember that Su Jiran is the president's man. This means that the president knows that the mission was fake. Second, he thought that I was ordered by Shinian to stay by your side. He said that I shouldn't follow in Zhou Heilan's footsteps. This means that Zhou Heilan was ordered by someone to stay by your side. Shinian is very cunning. Maybe he deliberately said something to confuse you," Gu Lingqing said cautiously. "I don't think so. Also, let's say that the president knew that the mission was fake. Could it be that the former president asked someone to catch Xiaohe?" Baya guessed. "Impossible. If the mission was arranged by Shinian's father, he would have killed Xiaohe after knowing his whereabouts. He wouldn't have asked my people to catch him. So, the person who asked Leng Shuang to catch him can't be the one who planned the fake mission. Moreover, we still don't know which faction Su Jiran belongs to," Gu Lingqing said solemnly. "If Zhou Heilan was ordered by someone to stay by your side, she should know that it was a fake mission. Through her, we can find out who planned the fake mission. What's the purpose of the fake mission? The mission is fake, but the death is real. What's the purpose of the death? Is it for you or for someone else?" Baya had many questions in his mind. Chapter 420. "You don't have to do anything about this. I'll handle it," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya felt a little uncomfortable. She knew that Gu Lingqing was worried that she would be in danger, so he didn't want her to participate. However, she wasn't afraid of danger or death. She was just afraid that something would happen to him. At the thought of something happening to him, her eyes turned red. "Gu Lingqing, if something happens to you, I won't live alone. Let's face it together. The difference is, if they want to deal with me, with my skill and ability, I am not someone that an ordinary person can deal with. However, if they want to deal with you, you will be powerless and will be easily dealt with," Gu Lingqing said solemnly. Indeed, she didn't have any ability. She couldn't help him even if she wanted to. "I really don't understand. Why do you like me? I don't have a good temper and I'm incompetent. I have a bad personality and I'm in a mess." Baya lowered her head and pulled her seatbelt to vent the faint displeasure in her heart. Gu Lingqing held her hand, and the corners of his mouth turned up slightly. "You don't need a reason to like someone. Maybe it's just a moment of affection. I only know that you make me miss you, and I can't see any other woman in my eyes anymore." You also make my heart ache, and it will make me jealous, and crazy. Although I don't know the reason, I know that this is love. It was rare for Gu Lingqing to say sweet words. Most of the time, he was a man of few words. But every time he said it, it made her feel incomparably sweet. Although I'm unarmed, I know that as long as you're here, nothing will happen to me. Didn't something happen to you on the deserted island? That's because you weren't there. So, I can't protect you all the time. Gu Lingqing seemed to know what she was going to say and blocked her words. Baiya twitched the corner of her mouth. I don't want to be a woman who causes trouble everywhere and only needs your protection. I want to fight side by side with you. There's a place for you to fight side by side. Do you know who Director Wu is? Gu Lingqing asked. Baiya shook her head. How would I know? I'm not a businessman. He's the owner of Xingchuan City's Land Planning Bureau. The person with him is the director of the investment promotion agency, Gu Lingqing explained. Xingchuan City is surrounded by mountains. It's the poorest province in country A. Do they want you to develop your career there? Baiya guessed. Yes, they want me to develop my career in Xingchuan City, but my goal is the treasure. Isn't the treasure in the gold source? Baiya was surprised. No, I looked for a lot of information, consulted experts, and combined it with the unfinished diary. I found the correct address. It's not in Jinyuan, but in Xingchuan City. We have to do, have to say, we have, gu, to say, to. Yeah, by, we. Shan, I'm. We have to do with it. Gu. By. We lon, to, of it ya, do, we, t. By, even if you find the treasure, you don't know who the boss is. You will get yourself into more trouble. Gu Lingqing, you have enough trouble. Xiahe's problem is not solved yet. Baiya disagreed. I can only negotiate with the boss after I get the treasure. To deal with the boss, we need to know who he is. Otherwise, we won't have any direction. I admit that you're right. I'm not asking you not to do this. I just feel that our priority now is to find out the truth behind your mission. We need to find out who the mastermind is. Then, we can deal with the treasure. What do you think? Baiya asked. She felt that Gu Lingqing wouldn't be able to handle so many things at the same time, even if he was a god. Gu Lingqing looked at Baiya in silence. Baiya didn't say a word. She just looked at her quietly. All right, I won't touch the treasure for the time being. It's too late. Let's go home first, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baiya knew that it wasn't easy to get Gu Lingqing to compromise. He was willing to compromise because he indulged her. She drove back. On the way, she looked at Gu Lingqing. He closed his eyes and pretended to sleep. The lights from the street lamps flickered on his face, just like her mood at that moment. She had to think about it carefully and analyze all the accidents and possibilities. She couldn't take another wrong step. After an hour and a half, they arrived at the villa. Baiya stopped the car. Gu Lingqing opened his eyes and looked at her. Xiaoya, you once told me that if you died, would live well and take your place to complete your unfinished dream, right? Yes. She did say that. Gu Lingqing's reply at that time was to talk about it in the future. I promise you, but I also need you to promise me something, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. He was very serious. Baiya had a bad feeling in her heart. Gu Lingqing continued, if I die one day, I hope that you can live well and take my place. We still have Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan needs you to take care of him. He will have children in the future. Xiao Yan's children also need you to take care of them. Do you understand? Baiya's eyes turned red instantly. She couldn't hold back her tears and they rolled down her cheeks in big drops. Gu Lingqing was a very confident person. In the past, when he encountered problems, he would always say, trust me, I can solve it. This time, he felt like he was leaving something behind. This meant that he also judged that he might not be able to solve it. Baya couldn't help but feel sad. I won't promise you. If you die, I will accompany you. We still have Xiao Yan, Gu Lingqing said. Xiao Yan has his adoptive parents, Baya said willfully. Her tears fell even more fiercely. Gu Lingqing reached out to wipe her tears. Baya pushed his hand away and turned her face away. She wiped her tears by herself, opened the door and got out of the car. Gu Lingqing had no choice but to get out of the car. Baya walked to the door. With her back facing Gu Lingqing, she said, if you die, they will deal with your son. Do you think I have the ability to protect Xiao Yan? No, I don't. The only one who has the ability is you. Gu Lingqing walked behind her. He reached out and hugged Baya. He buried his head in her neck and took a deep breath. Baya felt that his body temperature was pouring into her body bit by bit. However, she still felt very cold. She turned around and faced Gu Lingqing. Xiaoya, promise me, okay? If something happens to me, I will send you and your son out safely. No one will find you. Gu Lingqing looked at her solemnly. You're tuning into the Dreamy Love Stories YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.